Alright everyone, I certainly hope that you are excited for some more D&D online head gaming, because I know I am, and it is Thursday evening, which means it is time for Song of Rapture. Good times. As DM'd by Monsieur Omen, what do you have for us tonight?
Well, when we last left our Valiant 7, they headed into the village of Thistle with good news and good tidings. A victory over a great foe, although one that left them battered and some on the edge of death itself. But that is really not my story to tell. Can someone tell me what I'm on the Song of Rapture?
Place of pure evil, some sort of plane between the realm that we know and utter death. The hag Baba Ima was there with her sister Ashen Lin, and in the sky was some sort of shadowy figure that they called Marjorie. I knew it was no such thing. I knew it was some kind of ploy by these hags. And soon the battle unfolded. All the heart and desire that Persephone put into being good was for nothing, for she turned upon the party and shocked us into the wicked, hideous-looking Ashen Lin. We thought we could handle the wives of Ash, the creatures from these, and quickly surrounded our dragon Javen. We tried to and fought valiantly. At least that's the stories I've heard, because there was no way to see him, for he was quite some distance away. Soon fire erupted across the field, and lightning as well. My compatriot Gregory, surrounded by flame, with the Ashen Lin cackling atop it. Persephone did her best, casting spells, Samantha shooting green beams of energy, and enveloping herself in the darkness. It seemed that we were in quite a predicament. Luckily, that hag to the ground, with some quick thinking and a bit of my elvish heritage, teleporting and grabbing her and dragging her to the ground in front of Gregory's giant sword. One could say that she was indeed surprised. We fought valiantly until that shadowy thing in the tree whisked our target and our trophy. Soon I found myself alone in the pillar of flame. And then I heard the crack of lightning across the battlefield and the screams of my newfound friends. I knew it was time to be. I ran through that flame and found Gregory accosted on many sides, able to slew those ashen, shadowy creatures and free him to target that witch again. Persephone did her best to talk Baba Ima out of the evil throes of Ashen Lin, and through either magic or frustration, Ash several times I thought Javen was done. At one point I believe he even dropped his barrel of ale something never seen before. He seemed quite drained of strength and jovialness. But still he stood and fought valiantly. And soon the valiant seven were faced with just the Shadow and Ashenlin. And our hero, the heart and possibly the consciousness of our party, Gregory, stood before that evil hag and slew her with his new-found sword. A sword that apparently is legend, and has slew that hag before. We soon gathered the troops around as Luna communicated with us. Use that little black stone to bring us back to the town called Thistle. And soon we found ourselves back in the world of light. And luckily, not the light that Persephone saw in her vision but a week ago. A light of victory. As we climbed inside the tree of Thistle, we found their guardian and the girl. She was cured of the contamination from that hag, as Marjorie actually had control of her senses. As Ashay looked over, she saw Baba Ima. Persephone quickly there tried saving one of the Sisters of Ash. And Ashay asked Samantha a question of what could she do to reward such a deed of heroism. And I saw a glimpse. Perhaps Samantha isn't like the other Yonti. Perhaps she isn't selfish. Perhaps she is good. As she said, a reward was enough to make sure that Marjorie was safe. I dare say I was proud of her in that moment. Proud of all of us. For we went into a realm controlled by hags and returned victorious. Bloodied, bruised, singed, yes, but victorious all the same. As who knows what is in store for this valiant seven. But we shall find out, and we shall endeavor to be victorious yet again.
Very well done, Quill. Give yourself some DM inspiration.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I got that.
And roll yourself a D100.
How the fuck did I get that again?
Not use it last
Probably-
hour?
Probably that jumping through a wall of fire.
Oh yeah, jumping through the wall of fire.
Being a brave boy.
Because I think you use the inspiration when you try to tackle her.
I use the inspiration to try to get advantage on the hag.
Yeah.
Okay. As indeed, you're left inside the heart of the broken, but of Hamadria rather. In which you realize that this curse that's been beset upon Marjorie for so many years, that which has caused her emotions to be suppressed lest they grow out of control, and to the arcane in her. You realize that all of this has since faded, pulled away, it seems, by the touch of Baba Ima. The light that once began to glow within her marks sapped away as if it were nothing more than a small gathering of light, before it was simply crushed between her fingers and scattered into the air. Ashay has given you one last task within the walls of Thistle. Resting, recovering, ensuring your wounds do not grow any more serious. And once you've found yourselves nicely rested, your energy returned, to depart and grant her the freedom was promised so long ago. As that is where we'll begin. It seems like the walls around you begin to warble, the plant life seems to open up, and you guys, but Baba Ima and Ashe are allowed to escape the heart of this grand building. As you back in the heart of Thistle, it's still kind of a strange sight to see this lush, lively, settlement full of plant life to be still somewhat grayed, cracked, and destroyed, but I'm knowing that the ones causing this are no longer in power.
What's the date and time, God?
Kind of to tell, you came here through, it seemed like the plains themselves, and now you're looking up through the tree line. It's a bit more obvious, actually, to look around you. You see people are walking the streets, some of them tending to some of the damage, not really paying you too much mind. With the traffic you can see here, it seems like it's evening. As far as the date goes, you actually not really sure. You guys walked for of Baba, and even some time that Ashlyn claimed to be her own, that strange ethereal claim. Time has passed. You're really not certain. But there are plenty of people on the street to ask if you want to go inquire one of them.
Yes.
Sure. You just pull someone. What's that?
Yeah, just pull aside a random mark.
You do come to someone's side and you find them. Looks like they're hauling away chunks of broken wood that make up these sort of straw huts that wrap around these large trees. You stop them mid tracks and ask them, like, man, do you want the date? Just give me the time and date. It seems like, yeah, it's clearly evening. That's why so many people are out. It says that it's Wednesday, probably the 19th of September.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
The hell of a thing.
Wait, so we're fully rested, right? Because you said we had rest.
No, you guys.
No, we just walked out.
I heard you say fully rested.
That's what Ashe wants us to do.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's a
That's your last task.
Well, I have something I need to recover. I'm going to do that as Samantha just starts heading back across town towards the edge of the where the forest and the trail out of this place meet, to go assess the situation with the Hummer and get it de-stuck.
Okay, well, I'm going to take everyone to the Amber route because I'm pretty sure that's the only place we can really stay.
Was that the inn?
That's the place with that strange, decrepit and dying old man.
His name is Thaw, and we should be very
careful
to stay tonight.
I'll sleep in the car. Samantha goes down.
Car.
It's short for carriage.
Car.
Yeah, it's carriage. It's literally spelled the same.
Did we recover it?
That's what I'm going to do right now.
Cover it.
As it seems like Samantha's heading off in the distance, and Persephone's after pulling someone aside. Marjorie, sort of area, and wandering off quietly on her own, heading off in the direction it seems where most of the destructions seem to have centered at, until it becomes a bit obvious probably where she's going.
Are we supposed to follow her?
Marjorie, I'll go with her if y'all wanna. We could all go, I guess.
Might
I
as
really
well.
want to leave her by lonesome right now. Sure.
Yeah, I'll show you guys where the inn is at. Gregory, do you know how to get there? I'm sure Marjorie can show you.
Yeah, I know where it is. We were there last time around.
I mean, there are plenty of people to ask.
Just follow after Marjorie.
Mm-hmm.
And what about you, Luna? What are you up to? Samantha's walking off one way, Persephone's heading off towards where that awful inn was, and seems like a big clump of the men are following after Marjorie back in the direction of her home.
Typical. I'll go to the inn.
Following after Persephone, assuming given a bit of distance between you two.
Is Javen coming with us, or is he going with the Marjorie group?
I'll go with you guys. I'll head with Persephone. I was gonna head with the Marjorie group, but if Quill and Greg are going that Marjorie group.
Sure.
Oh no, I don't like the sound of that. Alright,
Oh,
I'll go
that
find the
sounds
Hummer.
evil.
Goodbye forever, Persephone.
Sure. So, yeah, Gregory and Quill, you follow after Marjorie. She doesn't really try to outwalk or outpace you guys. She just sort of quite somber. Seems like her mind is somewhere else, and her expression is just sort of fixed forward until eventually you come to that matted mass of broken wood and just piles of tattered, looks like straw and other sort of ornaments, in a large pile where you guys saw last time you came here. Marjorie's home had basically been all but destroyed. And she's rubble, looking down at this large broken used to be her door. Now it really serves no purpose, sort of laying on the ground, and behind it you can just see shards of glimmering things like broken glass. You see it looks like broken pieces of metal, such as like cutlery, and there's really not a whole lot left as she's kind of moving through some of the pieces and just quietly looking through them.
Let's walk up next to her. You mess seen better days.
Yeah, it's a bit messy, I guess. Could use a bit of cleaning, but
Yeah.
even
Broom, dustpan, fix it right up.
big broom, big dustpan. Maybe go see
Yeah.
if Fall has those in stock. What do I even take from here? What's even left? As she sort of pulls open the door, so it's going. She still seems kind of weak. Her face still carries lines of exhaustion. Sort of picking things at a time. Just looking through broken baubles, is really not sure what to do with some of them, just tossing them aside. Seems like she's looking for something to take, but nothing really seems whole. Nothing really seems well enough to carry with her, and if she did have something to carry with her, doesn't seem like she has a pack anymore.
Need help with anything?
I've always wondered what it'd be like to finally pack up and leave, but now I don't think I have much to take with me. But there is one thing in here I want. God, I don't think I can find it. I'd probably spend days digging through this thing trying to get it.
What is it?
It's just a picture.
I'm gonna help her look for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we got a bit of time. I think I know what a picture looks like.
Sure.
Just start moseying my way into her house, starting moving stuff around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fortunately, the two strong members of the group are here. Pretty battered, and some of you guys may have been touched by a shadow here or there. Some of your strength sapped away. They're still strong enough to pick up some of these larger pieces and just sort of shove them to the side and go through some of the supplies with her. As it seems like, yeah, it's an entire home that's basically been part of it almost completely flattened to the ground. You're going through lots of layers of just debris, looking for something, a parchment picture or something like that. It's kind of like a needle in a haystack, but you spend some time helping her out. As Samantha, out in the woods, you go a little bit of distance, about as far as you remember going, before finally you see no longer wedged between the trees. You guys did spend some time pulling it back afterwards, just keeping it from, being stuck on the wood. You do see the large shape of your carriage standing out in the wilderness. You did tie off your horses, I think, afterwards, because you didn't want to leave them, for days in the woods right outside of town. They're nearby, closer to Thistle than the Hummer, I suppose, is currently. But the Hummer looks like it's seen some wear and tear. Probably just be sitting out in these almost because this village of Thistle rests near the edge of a great swamp. The farther you get here, it's why the ground is covered in planks. You need to walk upon them to get out of the mud. And so, in this sort of very damp and humid atmosphere, you can see Clinging to some of the wooden sides are just patches of mold and algae. Seems like things are starting to it's like the forest is slowly but surely starting to claim it. But it seems like it'd be easy to clean, just probably takes some time. But surely enough,
It takes her
you
6
can get up.
seconds.
I mean, it's a Hummer, and it's
Oh yeah, I mean she just cleans off just the door to get inside of the carriage, remembering that she had already backed the thing out of the woods. She actually just came in here just for a moment of privacy. She just opens up the carriage, climbs inside, closes the door, and then just screams to herself as she is trying to reconcile what the fuck it is she just did, and it is it hurts her to even think about. It's almost like going up to give a speech and just ruining the entire speech and just feeling that embarrassment. She just kind of feels that just run through her. What on earth were you doing? Giving up a life debt? What is wrong with you? And just sort of just screaming at herself for a few moments before taking out the what is it actually called? The Infinite Bottle of Happiness Rum. Because I don't remember what it's called at the moment. And just taking a long drink from that and just kind of sitting there with her thoughts, trying to make adjustments of trying to figure out, all right, fine, you've already done this, you have to live with it, what are you going to do next? And that's what she's thinking about, and she just starts kind of jotting down some of the plans that she has for what to do going forward.
okay. Yeah. Thankfully, you were far enough away from town, and this Hummer, although not really built to withstand damage, it is somewhat heavy, and the walls are somewhat thick, so that the most you do when you suddenly just let out this inhuman just roar of frustration, you just hear the muffled sounds of fluttering wings in the distance as the treetops are shaken, as birds just scatter. But you do spend some time, basically recollecting yourself, finding a bit of happiness in the Rum Runner's choice, and begin moving forward with, something that's a bit more akin to you, not this weird, everything's fine, do this for good feelies. It's no, we're doing this for planning. We have a reason. We need something from this. As we cut back to the edge of the Amber Root, the building is relatively stable. It seems like the only thing that was really damaged in all of the Marjorie catastrophe was the tree itself it's connected to. There's a large crack running, almost like a zigzag lightning bolt up its middle, and you can see places where, possibly if more damage was done, the entire tree may collapse. But as Gregory mentioned, it seems like this place is mostly built underground. It seems like the tree acts as the base, and it's mostly the reinforced walls of stone and wood that give this thing structure. You guys come in and enter. You guys just looking for nights to stay here?
Yes.
Okay. For how many?
Yes.
How
6, 7? We need 7 rooms?
6 of us.
6, but Marjorie needs a room.
Yeah. Pretty sure she could pay for our room, honestly.
That's assuming
No.
she still has coin left.
I can forward the cost for her. It's fine.
Oh, that's okay. I was gonna cover it anyways.
Okay. So you guys just getting a room for 7 for one night?
Yes. So you can be well rested.
Nice.
Well,
Seems like
rested.
I remember last time you came here, the prices weren't too terrible. This isn't the most luxurious of inns, even compared to sometimes the lower standard that you guys experience at the Fallen Horse. This is still literally a hole in the ground. So it's basically going to be 5 silver per person.
All right, I'm paying for Marjorie. So that's a gold piece?
Yes.
Yes. All right, so I'll give him a gold piece for me and Marjorie.
Should we just cover everybody's? Just be done with it. Take me back.
Sure.
Okay, I gotta do some quick math, but I give him the total amount for everybody.
Sure.
But everyone's just gonna ignore the fact that Omen The hole in the ground joke?
I front my cost with 50 copper pieces, so I can get rid of these.
That is disgusting copper.
I mean,
Jump them out of the table.
okay. All the coins weigh the same.
as you do dispense of at least a total of 35 silver, which if you guys are going for smaller coin dosages would be like 3.5 gold for a decent night's stay at this inn. Some of you have experienced it before. It's this kind of deeply enclosed, small room, dank, underground inn. If you're looking for a place that's nice and cool for a hot summer night, but still, it's definitely nothing like you guys. Thaw's quite accommodating, but he's seems like he's quite busy with some of his own hands trying to mend the walls that seem to be cracking and breaking. It seems that didn't quite destroy the tree have also reached down into this place. Not enough to truly dismantle the establishment, however. Yeah. Is anything else you guys want to do? I mean, cut back to Marjorie, Gregory, and Quill after spending probably about an hour just going through the mess. And the deeper you go, the worse it kind of gets. You find one point, Gregory, as you're lifting up like these big like sections of what look like should be the walls, you just see the destroyed frame of it looks like would have held the bed, and then next to that, just sort of scattered everywhere, you see mounds of cotton and feather. As it looks like, yeah, God, this looked like a nice bed when you first saw it, and now it's just a mess scattered everywhere. But both of you guys give me investigation rolls.
Oh,
we get
I bet
Looking.
Both of you give me investigation.
So no. Yeah, that's pretty good.
4 plus 0 plus.
Yeah. Now this is sort of in here. Quick, grab something, sort of a memento. The problem is, it's kind of hard to tell what really these rooms were. You kind of have to keep going back to Marjorie, asking like, "What was this place like?" Because you're looking for something personal. But Gregory, you've been here before. If only maybe not quite as sharp-eyed as an elf, but looking around where her bedroom was, this is probably a place where she'd keep one of these mementos. And after digging through some of the fluff and the broken pieces of wood, and now one of them sort of having to very carefully move around, it looked like a wardrobe of sorts that's been shattered, and you're kind of being careful not to get, your hands too close to the delicates that might be scattered around. You do find, it looks like a small wooden rectangle that you pick it up and some shattered glass falls from the face. And inside, although it looks like it's been torn, you do see, it looks like a frame, and inside is a painted picture. A young with sort of ring, looks like the vestments of armor on her, and a big beaming smile, and in her arms she's holding this tiny dark-haired girl, although her body seems like it's been cut or marked by something. And if you hadn't met her just maybe the day before, or I guess hours before, you probably wouldn't know that you're holding a picture of Mila Haynes.
I just try to brush off a little bit of the loose glass on it. Marjorie, I think I got it in.
As Marjorie comes sort of stomping over some of the debris to see you holding the frame. Oh my god, it's actually there. Is it look okay? It's not destroyed, is it?
I mean,
We'll take a gander at it.
seen better days, but it's still mostly there. I just hand it over to her.
And she takes it and looks, and you can see sort of like her shoulders just sort of slump, and she just pulls it to her chest. Oh god, thank you. Thanks. Of all the things, I just wanted to stay intact. It was at least this.
Did I see?
Yep, as she pulls it to her and you're sort of following after her, it seems like Greg found what you guys are looking for. You do see, looking over her shoulder, it does look like the woman you saw in that strange ghostly realm. Although very much alive. She had actual eyes filled with life, a smile, not sort of a dead expression, and only looks like she looked like she had like almost blondish hair.
I take it that was your mother.
Yeah.
I've met her.
Yeah, we mentioned that your mama helped us out and all this, and that was a little bit more than just a figure of speech.
How?
Well, As any true knight, honor doesn't end with their lives. Even in her death, she seemed to want to protect you, Marjorie.
She was in the place we found Ash and Lynn when Albahema took us. She seemed to have been there in some form or another for a while, but she was still there fighting, and she protected us for a bit. Before she did, though, I mentioned how, I'm sure you'd like to talk to her again. She said she'd like that. Although honestly, I don't really know how to get back.
I wouldn't ask you to not after not after everything you guys have been through, not after who was there, not after what she was doing there. No, but it does make me happy to hear that she, even in such a terrible place, she's still fighting. Did she say anything about never mind. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
As she turns toward you, Quill, and sort of gives you a big smile, then her expression sort of just drops, like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think I ever got your name, Sir Knight."
Oh, hell, Marjorie, sorry. This is Quildor. Came along on the ride this time around. Marjorie, she's a friend that we've been talking about. I guess you caught on to that.
I was able to put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah. How about that?
I like you, Quildor. Honestly, you didn't even know me, and yet you came down here to solve my problem, to solve my life problem. I don't know how I can repay you.
There's no need to repay me. It's the duty of any knight is to protect the innocent. And according to all of these individuals, you were indeed a victim of some cruel curse. But now you're free to leave the place that you've only known as home. Where will you go?
I guess go see Oakwell. That's what you got. You guys, your friends here did a lot of talking up of that place, saying it was a great place to go, lots of things to see. I guess I'll go check it out finally.
That sounds great. Yeah. Jody, I guess my boss, she.
Oh, have you been talking about me to your boss? Are you getting me a job? I might need one. I don't have any money.
Yeah, I'm sure we can probably do some. We'd use an extra helping hand from the. I don't know if we mentioned this. Place called the Fallen Horse. It's a sort of inn and tavern up in Oakwell. It all of a sudden it got real nice, actually.
So I'm gonna.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna hand Marjorie 10 gold pieces.
Oh, wow! Thank you. As she's holding this lump of glittering coins. I think I might go put this to use and go buy a bag for some things.
Oh yeah. All right. You need any help, we can. If not, meet you at the inn.
Yeah. Does your tavern? I gotta ask. I've always wondered this. Do the floors of dirt?
No, ground around Oakwell a little more solid than around. I don't think you gotta worry about that. Unless
No,
Oh,
God,
right.
no, God. I thought that's just how inns were. Okay. Okay, Oakwell, sounding a lot better. Okay, thanks.
Floors, mate.
Oh yeah, it's all underground. Have you met Thaw yet?
No.
He's a real friendly fella. Good thing you're only gonna be here for a day.
What was his name again? Thor?
Is it Thaw?
Thor. What is that, dwarvish?
No, I don't know what it is. I think he's an elf, a half elf.
He's
We
sort
shall
of a
see.
peculiar fella.
Well,
He's good folk.
most
couple times
innkeepers
I've had.
are.
He's kind of a mess, to be honest. Okay.
Well, we'll see you at the end.
Yeah, we'll see. I might be a little late. I'm gonna do some quick shopping, but thank you. And she looks over at you, Quill, and then over at you, Gregory. For a second, she can't just stop you seeing the sword, assuming still strapped or held in your hand, seeing you just sitting there smiling, proud. And then she just sort of ducks you large-shouldered men and heads off towards the little market corner of Thistle. As some time passes between most of you, about an hour, Persephone, Javen, and Luna hanging out. I'm assuming you guys are hanging out at the inn.
I'm helping Thaw fix up
Oh,
his
God.
poor inn.
Yeah, using some of your magic to sort of flatten the earth against the wall with your mold earth, or maybe he takes some nails and starts very loosely and very recklessly the wood to keep it stable, but
God, I thought you were going to say into the mud.
it's too right.
Well, yes,
Try harder.
You're usually supposed to let the mud dry. Like clay.
Just breathing on it. But
No.
Perfect.
okay, so if there's nothing else anyone else wants to do, it comes down to
I think
some
Jordan had a question. Yep.
I know.
I was just gonna put it in the chat. Yeah, that's just what I'm gonna be doing for that.
Sure.
Once I'm done screaming to myself and like I take my sip.
Yep. Yeah, while you're working on your plans, it's not too extensive. It's not too taxing on your mind. It's mostly just realigning your thoughts. So it's easy downtime activity, which is enough for the course of an hour. You can feel some of your energy returning to your rod seems to almost become a bit warmer for a moment before you feel that sort of warmth and return of your what's the best phrase for it? Potent yet volatile power that seems to come in great blasts and then vanish.
Volatile, I'll take it. Yeah, she'll just kind of grab a hold of her shard of avarice towards the end of her plans, and she's already attuned to it, but just kind of almost reattuned to it, and she'll spend like another hour just kind of looking into herself and her magic potential, and realize that within this and within herself there is something that has changed, even though she almost immediately regretted it and almost immediately backpedaled from it. It's changed, as far as she can tell, irrevocably, and that has potent effects on her magic. As I finish up my magical adjustments that I forgot to finish. So that's what I'm doing.
It's almost weird feeling, because it's like it's not a sense of gaining anything really new overall. It's a new sensation in this sort of current situation, you could call it. But it's almost like a sort of return to form that you first felt when the shard of avarice came into being, when your simple scepter that you've had with you all this time consumed something, gained greater power, and it felt like you became a bit more whole. Sort of that similar feeling, although not quite as potent as strong. But yeah, again, it's been another hour sort of realigning yourself to this familiar feeling of magic. While the rest of you are sort of gathering up at the inn, seems like Persephone, Javen, Luna have already bought you guys some rooms. There's some really rough-looking keys made for you guys. You come downstairs into the inn and you see, it looks like Persephone and possibly Javen, who's all helping Thaw.
No, not really, Javen. So you know that episode in Parks and Rec where
I like this
Ron got the hernia, so he was just like standing still.
Oh
Jointing
no!
Quill slowly. Even with his
Slowly
negative
turning away from people
Yeah.
as they.
No. The one way he can't, where he like throws the hamburger at himself because he can't move.
He can't move.
Javen with his negative strength.
I forgot about that.
His
You're sitting
negative
there-
strength.
You're sitting there looking cool, but keeping your charisma high. Your poise pretty strong, but overall your body and growing heavier. You see like a lift, and you're just like, not to. Okay. As you guys come in and you see this wither, it's hard to tell what he is to you, Quill, because usually elves are pretty distinct in their appearance. Although you are kind of also an exception to that, being very tall and very wide-shouldered and muscular. Probably one of the more masculine elves you ever see in these lands. You see this twisted old pointed-eared creature with glassy, milky eyes. It looks like his lips and like around his eyes are like deep red and pitted. As it looks like he looks like he's dying. It looks like he's a sick old here, smacking a wooden hammer against nails, trying to fix a wall. Basically, fix a wall.
And who's so spardo? Just greet him in Elvish.
As he greets you in something that God sounds like Elvish, but twisted and horrible.
Thor, I presume.
My one and only.
I think it would be easier if you wait for the mud to dry.
I already tried it.
Okay.
As you see him just sort of, this is almost like a mindless old man just doing a chore that doesn't seem to have much end until eventually he starts growing tired and he has to sit down for a moment. But yeah, unless there's anything you guys want to do. Luna, you up to anything in particular while this fucking disgusting thing is making all sorts of awful sounds and smells near you? Oh? Nothing?
Nick's dead.
He's gone.
Sorry.
It's okay. Anything you're up to while looks like the gang is some of them trying to help Thaw fix some of the damage? Anything you want to do in particular?
I'm gonna go to my room and try to talk to Pity.
Sure. You find yourself in a bit of a room again. These rooms are they're dingy, they're small, and the ground is, thankfully it's dry enough to where it's not horrible and dusting your boots and your stilettos. But it's not really an ideal place to miss the fallen horse for at least having wooden floors. But eventually you find eventually you do reach out to Pity. It almost seems like the response you get is weak. Something that you maybe felt only once or twice. You don't really have full conversations with Pity after you pull upon his power. And when you talk to him now, just, about an hour or so after fighting with him by his ghostly energy to empower your spells, he's a bit weakened as his voice sort of comes in these sort of soft pips, almost like thoughts in the back of your mind, single word and almost too quiet. What do you want to talk to him about?
So, the witch is dead now, Pity. Is there anything else you needed me to do to help you?
I don't know. I feel free, but tired. So tired. Maybe some rest. We did it. And you feel the sort of like jitter of joy run up from your chest up to your head as, with the loudest of his voice, he just seems to be a bit tickled, like a child who just received a toy, realizing that, indeed, you guys finally got rid of this witch as seemingly the thing that took this child's soul. We did it.
Yeah, we did it. Go ahead and get your rest. I'll talk to you again tomorrow then.
Thank you, Luna.
I see Luna sort of shuffle off, and after a little bit, I'm gonna go to her room, knock on the door.
Yes.
Luna, can I ask you something real quick?
Maybe. What is it?
Can I open the door?
Is it necessary to open the door?
I guess not.
I'll open the door.
Oh, alright. Hell. Look, this might be crazy talk, I don't know, but, sounds like Marjorie's gonna be coming with us, and, you know, we saw her mama back there, and wherever the hell that place was, the Ethereal or something, you got us back here, could you get us back there? Or bring her mama here or something? I don't know if she'd be able to find her again if we leave this place. It was like that place was connected to this. I just start getting a headache and scratching my head. Is there a way to get Marjorie to be able to talk to her mama or something? I don't. Again, I might just be pulling the straws here.
Okay. I don't think so. I can try, but like I'm not a medium. Even though I feel like I kind of am, but I don't really think I could pull her soul. I'm confused. Didn't she sacrifice herself to help us?
Yeah, I don't really know. She said she couldn't do that for long, but I mentioned Marjorie wanted to probably talk to her, and she wanted to do the same. Just hoping there was something still around. If she's a piece, and that'd be great. I just wanted to make sure, and if she got to talk to Marjorie, I think that be the last thing she need to do. That's how those things work, right? Like you talk to that fella in that woods when he undead and stuff. They gotta get done the things they need to get done.
Right, but mother seemed very. She was using her very being to protect us during that time. I mean, I could try, but I won't even be able to try until at least tomorrow because I can't use the stone until then.
Yeah, I get this. I just cat.
But even then, I'm not sure if I could. I mean, I guess I could bring Marjorie there, but that's dangerous. Also, we would be stuck there for an entire day because, again, I can only use the stone once per day.
Oh hell. All right. Again, I just wanted to ask. I didn't know if really possible or not. Thank you, Luna. Maybe I'll find some other way someday. Or maybe she's gone. She already did the thing she needed to do. Either way, good night, Luna. I'll walk away from the door.
Okay. As some time passes, another hour, two, since you've left the Hamadryad, and then eventually it seems like Marjorie makes her way back with a small bag, just like a pouch of sort of filled to the brim with all sorts of things inside. She kind of shows you guys all of them, kind of double checking with you. Oh God, double checking with you guys. Like, is this what you bring on the road with you? Is this what you take places? Is there going to be food in Oakwell? I think I should just. I don't know if I did bring my own food. And she's kind of confirming with you guys that what she's bought, which a lot of it just seems sort of extra for 10 gold, is necessary for a 3-day travel.
You should be good. We actually caught a good sized deal on the way in. I still got some of the meat. I'll be cooking on the travel. Don't worry about it. We'll get you fed.
And once you get to Oakwell, you can figure things out. I know it can be a little weird leaving home for the first place. It's kind of what it was like for me in Oakwell, but you'll make do. And Jody will probably give you.
Jody will probably need someone to do all the bar work while we're gone. So we're not gonna be sitting there for long.
Oh,
I mean,
how
that's
do you
what
do
you
bar
want
work?
to do.
How do you do a bar work?
People come to you and tell them what they want. You sit there, look pretty, and then get tips. That's pretty much all you do.
I'm pretty
People
sure
get
you
paid for
also.
that?
I'm pretty sure you also cook.
I can do that.
And clean.
Okay, well, I can try to do that.
Jody's very, not really particular, but she'll tell you exactly what she wants.
Yeah, you get used to it. Honest work.
Okay.
She's strong.
The cat's just invaded my desk and the camera. She's like,
Get
I'm
him,
going to lay
Andy!
here now.
Get him!
Right in front of the monitor, just sprawled out.
Just put it on top of the monitor. What are you doing?
As Samantha, what are you up to? As 2 hours pass since you left Thistle.
Sorry, this salad is very acidic. It's so good though. Yeah, she just once she has her basic plans for some of the stuff that you and I talked about, kind of written out of like, all right, well, let's start doing this now. That's done. Magic reassessment done. Now she just takes out her gigantic collection of books and continues reading from where she is getting. She's basically prepared to do her version of a long rest, but she definitely does not want to sleep on the fucking mud-covered, clay-ridden, whatever the fuck that hovel is. Ugh. So she's just gonna prop herself up in a nice, comfortable position inside the Hummer and just read, just absorb knowledge as best she can, unless something bothers her or someone bothers her.
Not much would stop you. Like, every once in a while, as the sun begins to set and darkness truly takes over the forest, you might occasionally, like with your dark vision, see a glint of something moving outside in the forest, mostly just wildlife. A couple of times you'd hear like a pitter-patter of something on the top of the carriage, only like to see like a small furry sheep like jump down the front and sort of scurry off, looks like a raccoon or something. And then every once in a while, just a clacking of maybe talons or something sharp-toothed on top, or sharp-clawed rather, on top of its edge as things start to take roost around it. Every once in a while, you can like hear like the soft sound of like a ah! Ah! And then off in the distance.
Unless something's just on top of the Hummer, like if there's like just literally like, hey, I'm a woodpecker and I'm just gonna start woodpecking the roof. She mostly just kind of, she's really like trying her best to absorb this knowledge. She almost kind of tunes things out. She has like a lot of her snakes helping her, just like all looking at the same pages she's turning through it, whereas normally she's just kind of looking all around. She's really focused on this. She considers herself at this point to be pretty safe, and if like something comes up that's actually threatening, she feels like she could probably handle it. I mean, she did just beat a fiend.
Fortunately, you're not in the Elven Woods where the wood punchers live.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, those are terrible.
Yeah, I don't want to fight
no.
wood puncher.
Stab you right in the calf.
Well, seems like if you were to take your night out here, it's somewhat peaceful. You'd be only disturbed by the sounds of critters finding and enjoying the comforts of the outside of this large, luxurious carriage. But otherwise, you're sort of left to your own devices. As the rest of you, anything else you guys want to do in the evening, or you just want to turn in for the night and get ready for the next morning?
I'm gonna turn in.
Yeah, I'd wait up to make sure Marjorie actually gets back and doesn't just disappear in the night. But once she gets back, then go to bed.
Oh yeah.
Go meditate.
Okay. As night comes for you guys, and
although you can still hear the sounds through some of the cracked earth and broken walls of life walking around on top of Thistle, even some of you, maybe like your rooms are not quite as sturdy as they used to be in this inn, so the sounds are a bit invasive. But otherwise, you have a pretty decent night. As morning eventually will come to the edge of Thistle as the sounds of life begin to die down, as the nocturnal village begins to sleep.
I would have woke up early and asked
you would.
if I could
Brew a beverage. What are you wanting to brew with my tools and my ingredients, elf?
a drink.
What kind of drink? Of course a drink! What kind of drink?
One that you drink to celebrate a victory.
Turnip wine, I've got plenty.
No, not alcoholic. It's from a special brew that I found in a distant place.
I'm interested.
I'll give you a gold piece to allow me to use your... and not ask questions.
And what are the ingredients? Are you going to raid my kitchen? It may be more than a gold piece if you're taking my precious turnips.
I'm not touching your turnips.
Fair enough.
1 gold piece it is. As he takes your single gold piece, sort of slides it in his slimy mouth for a moment to make sure it's real, and then just opens up the door and lets you in.
Mm-hmm.
What do you?
What's the cap? What's the capital of the human lands again? Is it Skyreach? Or is it Skyreach? Okay. Well, I'll wait for everyone to get up, and then I'll tell you what.
Okay. Well, then everyone in about 4 extra hours will start to get up and around. Everyone who's staying in the inn, kind of waking up in your small, cramped rooms, and eventually start to stir, realizing the next day has come, and it's possibly time to get around.
Definitely sleep in just a little longer. Weird sense of ease Gregory's not had for a long time.
Come out relatively earlier than normal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah!
I'm gonna skip in early.
Draven already wakes up early. Gotta do this sun salutation. Say hello to the new day! Do his yoga! Stay
Draven.
limber!
David, how does it feel when you wake up with all of your strength restored to you?
Oh, Draven's actually real happy. He, like, sort of flexes. Like, hey, it's back. My barrel.
My
Jody.
barrel.
Oh, Jody.
What?
Maybe I just lost it. No, she won't believe that. I got some. No, Jody won't believe that either. Shit. I'll come up with something. Javen ponders about what excuse he's gonna tell Jody that he lost her barrel. Her barrel.
The truth?
No, I already did that. The truth is dumb.
The truth is reasonable.
The truth is not reasonable.
Truth doesn't spark joy. That's not a Vondra's way.
Yeah. Truth is not Spock joy.
Okay, as you guys, some of you are still sleeping in, Gregory especially, maybe after all that he's gone through, a sense of ease, and also maybe an aching body, sleeps in a bit longer. Luna getting up earlier, Persephone getting up pretty early, and Javen as well. You guys come in and you see Thaw actually not in the kitchen, just sort of sitting idly by, looking inward, curious. As, Quill, what are you making?
Quill will bring out 3 different pots. It's good to see that you're awake. I wanted to toast us. It's a bit of a tradition that I have when we are victorious. I once helped a small artisan guild in Scarreach. The leader of the guild owned a small shop called Art Sand Coffee. And he served the most delectable brews. And he was able to bequeath some of them to me. I've made a wide selection. One is called peanut butter. Another maple bacon. And this is the first time I've brewed it. It is something called cookies and cream. Was ever back in Skyreach? Or tell my friends when you're there at Arts and Coffee, use a secret word, lion and the number 10, and he would give you a bit of a discount. So here, enjoy this brew for victory.
Quill,
you.
give me a brewing check with wisdom.
And disadvantage.
At disadvantage.
And disadvantage, please.
Just give me a brewing check with wisdom.
What the hell's a brewing check?
Do you have
Use
do you
brewer's
have
tools.
supplies?
do you have brewer supply proficiency?
No.
You
You have cooking supplies?
That's what I used for. That's why I took Thal's stuff.
Okay.
You have proficiency, but do you have proficiency?
But are you? The artisan can give you the tools. The artisan does not dictate the skill of which the tools are used.
So that's a no, Quill.
Probably a no.
Probably
roll me a
no.
show me a straight wisdom check.
Will John's
You know what?
personal boon kick in to save him?
I'll use some DM inspiration.
Oh yeah.
Alright.
Cancel out the disadvantage. Hey!
Yeah, Quill, you've made drinks before simply by crushing fruits into cups. You've known that if you take some leaves of tea and you run some hot water over them, let them soak, there's a good flavor. And you've tried this strange drink before, this cacophony of, it looks like powdered beans and other roots. Dry them out, crush them up, pour some hot water and let them soak. They produce this like really dark and rich flavor that's good at sort of pepping people up in the morning. It's sort of akin to things like coca that you have in the Elven lands, but you don't really have access to coca. All you have access to are some like really simple root vegetables that this place has, and the flavors you're trying to make are kind of not really available to you. They don't know how to make the peanut butter. There's no real nuts here except for maybe acorns and walnuts. Cookies and cream sound like a dessert, but there's not really much sugar. It seems like they just have nectar and honey. And they don't really seem to have, like, really anything else to match what you're making, but through a bit of creativity, through a bit of just ingenuity and having time to sit, meditate, and think about these brews you want to make to sort of celebrate the victory you made, you do brew something unique. You make drinks that maybe quite aren't what you remember, but they taste just as sweet in spirit. This cookies and cream drink just more tastes like a sweet honey cider coffee of sorts, if that's even possible. But it's tart and it's delicious. You brew this thing sort of like peanut butter, but it's still rich, and maybe just a touch of root vegetables in it sort of gives it this sort of warmth and like a heartiness. And the last one is almost kind of impossible, really, for you to make and directly replicate. But fortunately, you did have one thing here that you didn't have elsewhere, which were small berries. These really dark berries that aren't quite tart, but are just harsh and sweet, as if they sort of assault the senses. And when you make that, it sort of clashes well with the sort of bitterness of the coffee itself. And at the end of the day, though you didn't quite make what you wanted, you did make something delicious. Something definitely worth sponsoring if one had the opportunity.
Jody would capitalize on the opportunity.
Huh. So it's just coffee, but flavored differently.
Indeed.
You gotta spread these things. Oh,
Where
ain't
did
bad.
get here?
What is thing go? Yeah, sorry about that. I was sleeping in a bag with Saul. Y'all doing all right this morning?
Yeah, I feel great.
Oh, I feel like.
Javen, you don't look so well.
What do you mean?
You look like you're like at 10% of your strength and health.
Oh.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he looks fine. He looks a lot better than he did yesterday.
Yeah, look. Steven will flex.
I think you just need to wash your face. I think
Yeah,
it's just the sleep in your eyes. It's making your ball look a little.
Suddenly, Javen just flexes, and you see all of his muscles just bulge in his body, like, "Argh!" And suddenly, maybe he's actually,
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
as
Yeah, you see Thaw very carefully pick up one of these steaming hot cups, sort of lets it cool off a bit before drinking it, then I love it!
Oh. I don't say it's a pretty
Alright, Quill, you got a fan.
As he starts drinking the rest of it.
Is it like bitter like tea, or is it more bitter than tea?
It's like bitter, like horrible, horrible tea water, but it's sweet.
It's a very acquired taste. I've only had coffee a couple times because only rich people could afford it. Whatever they use to make it ain't native here.
I've never had it, but I mean, I've. My father used to drink it every now and again, and my brother. They wouldn't let me have it though, for some reason.
Now's your chance.
Yes.
What this thing needs is some turnips.
That was it.
I'm assuming Samantha, she really did sleep in the car, didn't she?
Oh, I guess she did.
Alright. Well,
Well, then she owes me 5 silver pieces.
I guess we can get going. Tail. With all this, getting Marjorie and everything, we didn't really ask about the whole frog situation thing back in Oakwell. Are we assuming that that's just gonna be alright?
The frogs left because the Elderbark Forest didn't feel safe. I assume that's why a lot of the animals had left and ended up invading Oakwell. Now that it's safer, they should be able to come back home.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, they told me it wasn't safe. I tried to tell you guys. You guys don't really listen to me. You think I'm just crazy for talking to animals and plants, but they actually tell me some really important information, and they're worth listening to.
I don't think you're crazy.
Thank you.
I just thought it was some kind of plague or something. Why did they all get up in? Alright.
Because it was probably the closest thing they can go to. The other direction would have taken them straight into the Heart Basin.
Wait. I heard rumblings in Oakwell about these scouts being pulled back. Did anyone talk to Ashay about bringing back those people?
I sort of figured they'd have a lot on the plate at the moment. We didn't really expect, sorry, Marjorie, but all this. We would come back. I'm sure if they get things settled here, they'd be more than willing to come back.
So we should still ask so we can tell that one-eyed freak what's going on.
You mean Bea?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, the captain of the guard.
Yes.
She's quite honorable.
But that's fair. We should at least be able to tell Bea something when we go back. I don't think she'd be very happy if we came back and she asked us and our only response was, I don't know, maybe?
Oh, in that mindset,
fair enough.
Just don't ask at all. Let's just go back right now.
I think first got a point.
Well, man, do we even know where Samantha is?
Yeah, we left the car up by the edge of town, and she's probably
I hope she got it unstuck.
She's a determined individual. I'm sure she did.
Yeah. Alright, well, I guess I'll go back to talk to Ashay.
Yeah, I'll join you.
Where's Marjorie? Is Marjorie right next to me?
And she's staring into her cup, just drinking this drink, trying to figure it out. It's sweet, but it's really bitter, and it's like it's staining my teeth.
It smells sweeter than it actually tastes, but I kind of like it.
It's not bad, but I still prefer my coffee black.
Alright,
Okay.
I'll see y'all. Oh, hell! Morning, Samantha!
Samantha!
Picking up on us.
Get the car out?
It is waiting on the east side of town. The horse is attacked, and it is clean and ready to go. Pointed down the path.
Pour Samantha a cup.
What is that? It smells burnt.
It's amazing!
Quill made it to celebrate our victory yesterday.
I made it soda coffee.
You might
What'd
not
you
like
call it?
It's
Artie saying? Is that Elvish?
art sand. It's a type of cafe in Skyreach. You might not like it, Samantha. It's very sweet.
Is it really?
Actually,
I mean, it's almost sweeter than others.
it smells a lot sweeter than it tastes, but it still takes some of the edge off. Otherwise, it would probably taste like overbrewed tea.
It's pretty bitter, but there is sweetness to it. It's vaguely like chocolate before you add milk and sugar. It's not bad. You made this.
I helped out some artisans, and they rewarded me with some. If you're ever in Skyreach, you find a place called Art Sand Coffee. You could just use the words lion and the number 10. And they'll give you a discount.
Gregory, do you think you could make something like this but even sweeter?
Even I mean, coffee ain't usually sweet to begin with.
Like hot chocolate?
That would be
I
good,
could-
perhaps.
I mean, I could
So
make
you
some
really-
sweet drinks. It ain't gonna be coffee, but
You just want to drink warm cream with sugar added to it.
The coffee can stay in it as well. But as she just kind of finishes the cup that you gave her, just kind of takes it down, almost kind of chugging it just to get rid of it. That is something we can discuss wholly at another time.
Indeed.
I wanted to see if Ashay needed anything from us, and to perhaps issue a minor correction, but also to convey some information to Bea. I know the Eyes of Elm had been helping Oakwell in terms of staving off the goblins. Should we be off?
yeah, that's what Percy and I were just about to do. So yeah, you welcome to join us.
Good. And Samantha just starts striding off towards the Hamadryad.
Marjorie, I mean, you need to speak to Shay or anything before you head out.
I mean, I feel like I kind of should. I mean, it'd be weird to just sort of walk out after
Yeah, you should
kinda
at least
everything
say
she's done.
goodbye.
Yeah. It's kind of my first time saying goodbye to her, so yeah, okay. As she puts her cup down, which is completely empty now, and she gets up and sort of realizes how shaky her hands are getting. Must be kind of nervous. Okay.
Persephone's gonna literally start hopping out. It's like supposed to be a skip, but it just ends up being a hop.
A hip hop.
A hippy dippy hop.
Okay.
Cut down
Hip
this
hip
bush.
hoppity during Slaughter.
Everyone who wants to make their way out of the inn, Thaw just continues to take the remainder of the drink that Quill's brewed and starts pouring more cups and tasting them, sort of coughing and blehing every time he takes a big delicious gulp as you guys make your way back towards the center of town, or the village. And you find the Hamadryad. It still looks like it's in shambles, but no worse than when you left it. The Eyes of Elm this time actually seem to be standing outside in guard of it, almost surrounding it in a great circle. Kind of strange because most of the time the Eyes of Elm hang high in the trees out of sight, sort of like a security that the town itself, the village itself rather, need not see at all times. But here, there's just a string of these guards who, as you approach, there is no hesitation, no stopping, no basically questioning of your motives. They just seem to part and make way for you guys as you approach the tree.
Are they facing in or out?
Out.
Interesting.
Out.
Alright. We supposed to knock or something, or we just
Yeah, Samantha just puts her hand on the tree.
Yep, the moment you put your hand on the tree, feel that solid bump as you're putting your hand on a solid tree, and then after a few moments, you do feel the bark sort of shift under your hand and sort of waver, and then it becomes liquid as you see your hand start to immediately sink inside and you guys get pulled in.
Yep, alright. I hope we
I'm
ain't
jumping
true.
in.
Excuse
And
us.
I go up with a what?
All right, you jump inside the tree, and you actually feel yourself kick off the ground a little harder than you usually do when you feel that strange falling sensation as you suddenly get risen up into the tree, and you actually end up coming through the brush, through the flowers and the leaves, sort of blasting through them. And give me a dex save.
Oh.
Stuck in a wall.
You did.
Nice. As you come through, you're sort of in the air, still amidst Hop, given quite a bit of momentum as you're thrown from here, and you immediately see Ashay standing in front of you, and oh my god! And you have to sort of like stumble and catch your feet beneath you to not just crash into her. As you see, standing before you, high in this tree, is Ashay, still damaged in her appearance, although it seems like some of the cracks in her face are starting to reconnect. And next to her, still very wounded, although there's no more sludge dripping from the wound, a small, twisted crone who seems to be sitting on, I mean, I guess it's a chair, but it looks like the wood itself of the ground has been risen up into this small little, like, chess piece, like a pawn shape beneath her, like a stool. As sitting on top of it is the damaged and one-armed Baba Ima. As the two of them look like they were somewhat in conversation before an elf girl exploded into the room, as the rest of you, one by one, begin to sort of pull yourself through the folds of this tree and step in quite calmly.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we interrupting something? We wanted to check in before we had to leave going back to Oakwell. But if we're interrupting, so we probably even come back later.
No, it is good you have come. I realize it the next day has arrived so soon.
As you can actually see, sort of strangely enough, Ashay sort of has a soft smile on her face, but kind of seems like she's been standing this entire time. Baba Ima's sort of sitting down next to her. Looks like they're in the middle of something quite, well, with your high insight, seems like they're in the middle of something quite long-winded, as almost caught her in the middle of a sentence.
We didn't mean to intrude, sorry about that.
It is quite all right. Your presence here in the Hamadryah will always be welcomed for your efforts. As Baba Ima sitting there, she looks like she's holding something for a moment. It looks like a small cup of tea, but the moment she sees you guys, the image just seems to sort of unfurl into, looks like dust before vanishing.
Oh, all little children come back to visit Mother. I suppose not me. I'm just the guest here as well.
I have come to see you as well, Baba Ima. I had a very, well, personal and tadly frivolous request of you, if you would be so kind.
Oh, kind is who I am, sweetheart.
As Samantha would just ask if she had if she could write, I don't know if she can write with one hand. I guess she could write with one hand. I just wanted the recipe for those tasty things that I was eating in her weird little house.
Oh, those were children.
The sweets you tasted, they were made with all sorts of simple ingredients. A bit of flour, a bit of butter, and a mother's undying love for all the children in the forest.
That sounds delicious. I wish I had one.
It was so good, you have no idea. All right.
Come here, come to Mother.
As she holds out her hand to you, sort of takes yours almost forcibly by the palm and presses her hand into yours, and then sort of this weird feeling as she pulls her hand away, and suddenly held in your hand is one of these little sweets. Just out of nowhere.
Come here, you too, darling. Hungry children come to Mother for sweets.
And I eat it really fast.
Yeah, it's really good. It's so light, you take a bite out of it, you taste the sweetness, it almost like disapparates in your mouth. It's so fluffy and light, and it's gone the next moment.
Will this ever spoil?
Oh, I don't think so. A mother's love is undying, child.
That's true.
Samantha kind of internally reflects that she doesn't. And she takes out just a black handkerchief, takes a very small bite, wraps it up, and puts it away.
It's almost like a fleeting taste of this, the sweetest, purest honey in the world, and then it's gone. Like, almost enough for a second bite. No. Gotta save it.
Oh, what's that, young man? Do you want one as well? As she turns her hand towards you, David.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to try it.
As again, just a hand takes yours, squeezes it tight, and then left in your palm as if it always been there was another little sweet treat. As you can see this whole time, as Shay is just sort of watching with her one eye, sort of darting between everyone. She doesn't seem to be displeased by it. She's just sort of watching curiously.
No, that's all right. That coffee sort of sitting in my stomach heavy. I'm good, thank you.
I'm watching my figure.
We came to ask just a couple of things before we left, though. I know you pulled the eyes of Elm out of Oakwell, and for very, very good reason. But the head of the guard is going to want to know if they're coming back, ever. It's okay not. I know Thistle's kind of in need of their help right now, but we need a definitive answer to bring back to her.
For the time being, the village of Thistle will need repair. And though a great threat has been thwarted that dare to destroy it, as her eye sort of glances over just for a moment to the person at her side, there are still others that would dare impose themselves upon this broken village. The goblins who once infested it may return, and hidden threats that reside in the shadows may rise at the occasion. The eyes of Elm will be needed for time. But once repairs are complete, word will be sent, and Oakwell will have our eyes once more.
I have
Great.
I have decent pull with the mayor, Shay. If you needed something from Oakwell, I could convey that to him. If you needed resources or people, or perhaps if you were worried about the goblin threat, the mayor may be inclined to issue a bounty. There are a wealth of adventurers who need a threat to cut their teeth on in Oakwell for the time being. Perhaps I could handle that negotiation for you at your behest.
I would appreciate such efforts of communion between your community and my own. And she nods in your direction, Samantha. Seemingly, you can actually see the smile actually spread across her face again as she looks again at you. That same sort of strange expression as a person looks at you with a look of faith.
And I will convey your needs to him. And she kind of just feels a strange sensation inside of herself and then just grasps onto what she knows to be familiar and sort of shifts her demeanor just ever so slightly. I do have a very simple request of you, Ashay. It is simply that you make mention of our efforts here and add to the story, to the tale of the Wives of Ash, the Valiant Seven and their efforts, so they are not forgotten.
Very well. It'll be a simple task. The tale of the Wives of Ash is an old one within these woods. And finally, it is a tale with an end, a final chapter to that wickedness. Your name shall be in that final chapter.
Try to turn her smile. Well, with that out of the way, I just give a very short, just a very just respectful but not subservient bow before stepping back and God damn it, Omen! Before stepping back and just almost seeming to almost gesture to the rest of the party and just I'm good. Why do you do this?
Jazz hands!
Actually, Baba, Ima, I do have one last question. I don't know if you can answer it. But your sister mentioned she spoke with a seer and that she heard a song. Would you know anything about that?
Seers and songs. I've heard of many seers, and I've heard of many songs. Sweet sister Yagajiva used to be a seer, but well, she is gone. I don't know how she would have spoken to her. Well, at least if they talked. But what a strange thing to say. Because she even never spoke of a song. Her mind was always in the clouds, always ahead, always in the storms to come. What do you think, Ashay? What do you think, sweet? Well, what do you think dreaded sister meant by those words?
As Ashay sort of looks down at Baba Ima and back to Persephone. Before the woman you see here was born, there was a great and powerful being, composed of 3 smaller, weaker creatures. Baba Ima is but one of those pieces. Before she was something stronger, something I admired for quite some time, enough to drive me from one world into the next. She was known as many things, foul things, but to me, she was an ally, a seer of things to come, the reader of strings, the crone Baba Yaga.
Huh.
Crone.
And she's the one that came with you from the Feywilds.
Indeed. As she looks over at Baba, Ima is kind of looking up at her, kind of confused.
I don't remember any of that. But possibly, Ashay was not, or Ashlyn rather, was not like the rest of us. She always had her own plans, her own schemes. Maybe she was something else before she became Ashlyn. If she broke that Baba Yaga, what a terrible name! What a terrible name! Well, perhaps she was something that took her power? I don't know.
As she just sort of sits down and pulls, again in her hand, as if it were always there, a small cup of tea, sort of drenched in looks like patches of mold, but glistening as if golden like honey, and she drinks it and just sort of cackles to herself.
What an odd notion.
Ashay, you will be able... No, it is nothing. Never mind. She looks at Baba Ima and then looks at Gregory and just sort of decides that to sort of believe in the efforts that he's made.
Okay.
I guess it's just one last thing we need to do before we go our separate ways again. I think of somebody that finally needs to say goodbye for.
As you turn around and look, and where is she? Oh,
she's dead.
And then behind Ashay and Bobby Ima, on the sort of the opposite side of the wall, you see the wood begin to warp, the leaves begin to rustle, and then Marjorie just sort of stumbles out the other side. Sorry. I got a little here, and I didn't know which side you guys came in. And she looks up at Ashay, who's now turned to face her, and the other side, seeing Baba Ima, sort of, you see her shake a bit and sort of reel back instinctively. Hey Shay, Baba Ima.
Hello, darling. You're looking so much better. Would you like a treat?
Nope. I am okay.
Oh
yeah.
no, it's pretty good.
No, I am perfectly okay the way. She just turns to Ashay. Hey, Ashay. Marjorie. Look, I just wanted to say, I don't know, thank you for everything. You almost died keeping me alive. I mean, look at you right now. I almost killed you. And yet, you still protected me for so long. It is the duty of any guardian to keep their word, and to keep peace within the woods of which they protect. Yeah, I guess I get that. But like on a personal level, that like, cause you're still you, and you could have, I don't know, so many bad things could have happened if they didn't show up, you know, and you would have just let it happen for me. Your mother was a kind and merciful woman, Marjorie. She took actions that ultimately led to deadly ramifications. For many who pass through this forest, for many who stay within my walls, and for myself as well. But she was a woman of honor and of goodness, of life. And if it was not for her actions, I believe everything may have been lost. As she turns down to Baba Ima, who's just sitting there just basking in the presence of Marjorie, who just seems to love just being so close to her, enjoying her. It was my pleasure and my honor to be your guardian, Marjorie. And then she just steps forward, and Marjorie just sort of like pulls her hands back, like, what am I supposed to? And then Ashe just hugs her. And you can see some of her, sort of her foliage cloak that's draped around her shoulders just bristle up against her, and Marjorie's just sort of kind of left her hands hanging in the air like this is the first time this has ever happened. And then her hands just sort of come down to sort of pat behind Ashe, and then this big smile just cuts across her face. I'm not going away forever. I'll come back sometime. I mean, you're still here, and I still gotta say hi to Thaw, and I gotta go help, maybe Kama with whatever he needs. He always needs help in the hunt, and I'm not gone forever. I'll be back. I'm gonna do some traveling. That's all. And then Ashe,
we take good care of it.
I believe you will. Now go. You've been trapped within these walls far too long. You have wings now, Marjorie. It is a gift to use them.
And come back to visit the old mother. I always want so much. I want to catch up about so much. I wanted. You look so beautiful, Marjorie. It's so nice to actually see you. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Let's. Can I just? And she puts her on the wall and immediately gets sucked through. Let's get her off. Oh.
I'm sure it'll take some time for her to get used to seeing you more.
Her mother does everything she does for someone she loves, even tries to kidnap her, and they don't even appreciate it.
Give her time.
As Baba even sort of sulks in her little makeshift chair, and then Ashe turns to the rest of you. If there's anything else?
Yeah. Baba Ima.
Oh, yes, child.
Look, I ain't gonna pretend like I know how all this worked, but your sister from that place, we found you and her together. Can you go back there or see? Is Mila Haynes?
Hard to say. It's not my will to control. My only way of contacting it was that little stone that your friend now has. Although, I don't know how it functions and how that plane will work without Sister there twisting souls into shadows, burning and desecrating them as they were. Who's to say? But with her gone, I will say this, sweet child, with her gone, and her claws no longer hold on to those souls, well, perhaps they're just as Marjorie is. Free. Free to go where they want, to linger, to pass on.
Pray to the gods that's the truth.
Who's to say?
Yeah. Shay, saw all this happen, but I'm glad we put an end to it. I thank you for letting Madra leave.
It is the least I can offer you for all you have done. Not only for my people, not only for this forest, but for myself. Thank you.
I'm gonna step forward, right up to Baba Ima, and then Sylvan. Imostita ama ustunu. Imosti Badrunchi Tatana. If anybody knows Sylvan, you could ask me and I'll tell you what I said.
I know Sylvan.
Well, then Persephone would have overheard me say, I was apparently wrong. There is more than just the only good hag is a dead hag. You are a good hag. That's cool. We'll turn around and leave.
As you see her put her one hand to her chest and she just sort of swoons a little bit like, oh!
And hearing Quill say that, I take the flower crown off of my head. Now flowers have dried and maybe they're starting to fall off a little bit, but I don't think Baba Ima will mind. And I gently put it atop her head. Resvis is she. In Sylvan, as seasons change, so do we.
Oh, look at that. Victor child.
Well, this is cute and sweet and all, but let's go. Like, I have shit to do, guys.
Guess we going off then. Shay, Baba Ima. Yeah. I'll let the gods watch over you, I suppose.
Take care, children, and make sure to come visit a mother from time to time, though I don't know where I might be.
As the shade sort of looks down at her, we shall discuss your future in this forest, Baba Ima. But for now, we'll reside here.
Or maybe come visit a mother so she won't get lonely. Lonely makes a woman mad.
Oh, gods.
They start talking to each other. I'm making back toward the side of the wall that I came from because I don't know how the fuck these walls work.
I'm gonna give them both a hug. You just stand there. I'm gonna go in full sprint into the wall because I just have
Just fly straight through the tree and falls.
of this energy now.
As Greg, you're sort of putting your hands through the foliage. You feel like sort of solid walled again before it really starts to suck you in, and you get pulled back down. Persephone, you're just running straight into the wall after he does that. You don't hit any solid wall. You just hit pure liquid, and immediately you feel that falling sensation before you come flying, launching out of the tree. And this time, a little too close for comfort, just smashing into the back of one of the eyes of Elm as both you and him come tumbling to the ground.
Jumped! First, what the hell are you? Oh.
As Children, still in the tree with Ashe and Baba Ima.
Can I have one more for the road?
Oh, little hungry boy. I cannot leave a hungry child with an empty stomach.
Here, as she reaches out in her hand and sort of forces her hand deeper into yours, almost pushing it back to your chest as you feel something spilling across your palms as you hold 3 small little treats in your hand.
Oh, yeah. Alright. Thanks, call you Ashe?
Indeed. As she just sort of reeling back from that other hug as she turns back to you, still the last person in this room. I do not believe we have met.
Me neither. But, take care.
You as well, Dragon.
As you're leaving, Javen.
Bye, sweet mother.
Goodbye, child!
As you turn back to the wall, start making your way, you do hear them sort of resuming. Sounds like that's the where their conversation had ended off.
But it's just a big house that walks around on legs. Is 6 too many? Is that too dangerous? Maybe cutting it down to just 2. Is that fine? No? Okay.
Shay's like, it still poses quite a danger to anyone who stumbles upon you. As Javen, you make your way down to the tree. It seems like you guys are now at the floor of Thistle, where you see Marjorie just sort of sitting and waiting, just sort of huddled up a little bit on the ground.
I'm gonna hop next to her, and I'm gonna crouch down to whatever height she's at. So how does it feel? How do you feel? Are you excited?
I feel like I kind of messed that goodbye up. It could have been a lot nicer.
Honestly, I think it went really well.
Yeah. I still don't know why she's in there, though. Aren't they going to get rid of her?
Well, Baba Ima's kind of been through some stuff, too. And maybe she's going to turn over a new leaf, and she can actually help Thistle.
Maybe. I guess.
Besides, now that you are free to leave your gilded cage, Shay needs something else to keep herself occupied with, and Baba Ima should be sufficiently taxing.
No, you may have a point there. It's trading one problem child for another. Hey, look at that. I'm not leaving her all alone. Oh, still feel really weird about it, but I trust you guys. Weird. I trust you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, I completely understand.
It'll be weird at first, but you'll get used to it. And lucky for you, you can always come home.
That's true. Back to where she is. Okay, it'll be fine. I'll spend a lot of time out of here. We ready to get going?
Yes. Let's go.
Let's get together.
Pack up.
All right then, let's go. As Marjorie gathers her things, still this overstuffed bags. Samantha and Luna lead, heading up towards the edge of Thistle, where there's this, I guess, where the large and relatively luxurious, a bit damaged, but still luxurious-looking carriage awaits.
Y'all don't mind getting things ready. I need like a couple minutes.
Is my horse still tied to the wagon?
If you used your horse, then it basically would have been tied back with the others, and now it seems like Samantha would have possibly brought it back in. Okay, so we've got him ready to go, so we can jump on the road.
Hop on my horse.
Give my horse a big hug, and I hop on its back.
Everybody's having their potty breaks and getting ready to go. I'm just gonna stand off to the side a little bit, close to the tree line, and just find a big old sturdy tree. Alright. Got a long journey ahead back to us. Don't think I forgot about you, old as I'm just gonna start to hold my sword out and just concentrate on a little bit of the magic that's in my body, the magic that's in the sword, and reach out my mind to the gods, to their power, to their gifts, and to the aid that they've given me before. So I'm going to slowly summon forth little old Nero.
I'm gonna watch him intently do it.
As I just reach out and put my hand on the tree, as at the very end of the cast, I just start to withdraw my hand, and the tree itself, almost mimicking the tree that we just walked out of, starts to ripple ever so slightly, starting to glow as the tree itself almost seems to turn into this shining beacon of light as Nero just trots his way out of it. Hey, yo.
It's always a sight to be held.
Oh, yeah. Quill. Yeah. Ain't ever really gone. I just pat him on the nose and start leading him back over.
Yep, Quill, you're watching Gregory lead his horse away, and as he moves away from this tree that he found, you see sort of behind him, standing sort of off in the distance, just a man just sort of staring his eyes like dinner plates, looking at Gregory walking away with his horse and looking back to the tree. He just sort of walks over and puts his hands on the spot where the horse came out of.
Oh, you saw that, did you? Shame. Cut his head off.
And now the secret dies with you.
As he seems like one of the strange onlookers in this early morning town village had sort of witnessed this and is now just trying to figure out this mystery of how do horse come out of tree. As eventually you guys make it back to the carriage. Seems like everyone's in tow. Samantha's waiting in the driver's seat. Everyone else is taking a position probably inside or around on their own horses. Basically ready to hit the road. So there's nothing else you guys want to do? You guys begin to make your way outside of Thistle. Marjorie resting inside of the carriage, sort of taken aback by the space of this vehicle. Most carriages and carts typically are pretty small and compact, meant to only hold a few people. This one holds quite a few, and a lot of you guys are out on your horses. As you guys eventually start traveling down the path from Thistle, going along the northern edge to... Unless you're possibly going back up here to Oakwell.
Didn't know.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and with the cart in tow, knowing that it is a large vehicle, not meant for speedy travel, just meant for luxury and comfort, it's going to take you guys at least about 3 days to get back, just as it took you about 3 days to get here.
Of course, are you serious that them frogs and everything just migrated into town? You serious?
Yes, because the forest was their home and it was no longer safe, so they went to the nearest place that would be safe. And to the west is the big lake, and to the east is freedom. So yes, they came right into Oakwell. We're right on the edge of the Elderwood Forest.
In a town?
Yeah.
They say frogs like people.
You act as if the animals are supposed to follow the laws of man, and they don't.
I just figured they'd go out in the plains or something, not in town.
Oakwell's a part of the plains now.
That's true.
Alright. I just thought it was some weird plague or something.
It did kind of look like that.
That sounds kind of like what... Yeah, okay. Sorry. Yeah, that's kind of what you'd expect of someone like Baba Ima.
See, that makes sense.
You
The whole witch thing going on, not... I don't know.
If you see any on the way, perhaps you should ask them if they feel safe here now.
So, Marjorie, your markings have disappeared. Has your connection to the weave left you as well?
My what? Oh,
what now?
I don't...
You talking about my weave?
Nope. Your connection to magic. Sorry, I've been reading a lot of dense magical literature. Yes, your connection to magic, your gifts or curses or...
I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry, I haven't really tried in a while. Last time I was using magic, everything was breaking.
You can tap into it as I just kind of like turn to look back through the kind of like keeping an eye on her with like two of my snakes inside of the carriage while still watching the road. Oh, that's so busted. As I keep an eye on her. If you sense your magic going out of control, I can use some of mine to put a stop to it. See if you still have your gifts to you.
Okay, and make that thing move. And move. You just see her sort of swinging her hand in the air, sort of looking at, like, it looks like a small, like her bag inside of the carriage, sitting next to her in one of the seats. She's just sort of moving her hand at it, and she kind of looks at it intently, and then doesn't really seem like much happens. Well, about that, and move now. Okay, I don't think I quite got it as I used to.
Was your magic connected to your palm reading, or was that just something else?
I mean, I used my magic when I did that. It wasn't a lot, but I could just sort of use it. I don't know, kind of...
I don't know. I never really think about what's magic and what's not. I just kind of want something to happen and it happens, or I think hard about something and it does. I look at your hands and I put my fingers on them and I feel certain spots and then it all comes to me. And I mean, I don't know. Someone give me your hand. Someone give me your hand.
I'll offer her my hand.
Takes your giant gauntlet hand. Okay, maybe take this gauntlet off as he sort of slides the metal
Slide it off.
10 minutes later. As he takes
I can do it as an action. Thank you very much.
It removes
That's
all
true.
of your armor.
Oh, yeah.
All
I'm
of it
not
pops
gonna
off.
do that.
But you take off the gauntlet rather swiftly. It seems like just a twist of the wrist causes it to become unclasped as he pulls it off your hand and sort of puts her fingers along your palm, sort of almost a ticklish sensation of sorts against your rough palms that have seen many a battle. As she's feeling, and I mean, it kind of feels like no. I mean, just from the outside, I guess I could say you carry a lot of burdens with you, but I think that's just you just have really calloused hands. I don't think I got this anymore, guys.
A true fresh start.
Carrying ball glasses, then. All right.
Hey, that might be more of a blessing than anything. I wouldn't worry about.
I guess so. I mean, to be honest, it was kind of nice when I could just like make things move, or I could just clean things just by wanting them to be clean. A lot better than dusting, but well.
Put my gauntlet back on.
As she seems to sort of resign herself to her seat, sort of thinking, "Oh, I gotta start remembering to use broom, dustpans, and okay, this will be interesting."
Oh, that reminds me. I really do like the way that they package these things. Is that Samantha reaches into her armor, into her mini pockets, and pulls out another package wrapped in black handkerchief. Yeah, this is for you. Hopefully you'll feel a little bit better. As I reach back and hand it to her through the little window thing.
Sure. As she sort of takes it and looks at this very neatly wrapped package. Do you want me to open it? Or?
It's pretty heavy. You don't need to open it right now. It's just a bit of gold to help you out. I have a bit, well, not a lot.
A bit of gold?
86 pieces, give or take.
That's a big bit right there.
It is sufficient, just in case, well, you never know how things might shake out, but it is my gift to you. Don't spend it all in one place.
I definitely don't think I could even possibly do that. Thank you, Samantha.
So I give her 86 gold. Give me a flat 1,500.
Pretty. 1,500?
1,500.
I think he's saying he's now at 1,500 gold pieces.
No, that's not, okay.
Oh, sorry, 1,400 pieces. There we go.
He gave
Weird flex, but okay.
1,400 gold pieces. All right.
And I gave her 86 out of my 1,486. Leave me alone.
As she goes, things go pretty quiet. It's kind of interesting to be back on the road again. It's always a good feeling to be back after a rough run-in with danger in this world, and then road, not to more, but to home. It's a place to relax and sort of unwind and remind yourself why you guys got here to do this. But the trek is still on. It takes several days. The first day goes without any real trouble. Marjorie kind of feels weird because it's the farthest she's ever been, like 30 miles outside of Thistle, before she sort of resigns and sleeps out. It seems like she kind of wants to be out in the world. But the next day in your travel, a little bit farther outside of this range, where you're walking through this very lush and golden road, as it's still autumn. It's still in the throes of this season where the green of spring has since dried from summer and become this glorious end to the life before winter takes it. You guys find yourself walking along the path, and within you, Luna, you feel this sort of shiver, this sort of ticklish sensation as pity's starting to come to life, and then immediately it's replaced with this sort of strange chill as you feel him immediately like pull away from you for a moment out of the wagon.
Hold on, stop the wagon.
Hold. And she just kind of pulls on the reins to bring a stop to the Hummer.
As the clatter of hooves start, and eventually the wagon sort of comes to not a screeching stop, but a relatively quick one.
Immediately start looking around.
I'll hop out the wagon and go see if I can see Pity or his general form.
Yep, it's kind of weird because you never really see him because he's sort of in this constant invisible. The only place you really seem to be able to locate him with your eyes was in that plane where ghosts were very, very visible. Here in this world, not really able to. All you really have is a bearing where it seems like Pity pulled away from you, sort of yanked out of your body. And so you get out of the wagon, sort of looking up in that direction, coming down the path until you find yourself along these golden trees. And then you don't see Pity, but you do see other things, Luna, especially you with your sharpened gaze. Between the dark cracks of these trees, you see sort of shapes moving to and fro. Some of them appearing as if they were maybe just mere shadows of something hiding between, but they're just that. There's nothing connecting them. You see familiar-looking shapes, thin and gaunt, hiding in the wilderness around you as you see dozens of these twisted-looking shadows in the area, just sort of all stumbling quietly through the trees, some of them putting their hands along the faces, as if they're looking around, lost. Just ever so soft street, a sort of shape that you are familiar with your background. Your strange tie to undeath, as you see these strange silvery shapes of spirits, similar to the ones you saw on the other side. They sort of intermingle with these twisted-looking shadows, and as they come into contact, you see like one of them taking the form of like a young man approaching one of these shadows. You see the soft silver light of a hand touching its shoulder. The shadow sort of jolts and turns in its direction, and then that silver light seems to creep up its arm, and the shadow seems to fall aside like dust and soot until a similar shape can be seen. Until where was once a shadow, there is no more, but a single, no longer darkened, now more detailed spirit, as some of them begin to sort of vanish all around. And finally, sort of glimmering before your eye, you see down the road a very, very distinct looking shadow standing almost dead center near the road. Sort of like off the path. If you guys had it stopped, you may have just gone right past it. And in front of it, this small, shivering silver shape, not quite well defined as it once was before, but small enough and jittering that you could probably assume that it's Pity. Sort of just approaching this thing. And it sort of just swims around in front of it, and you see wherever Pity's sort of strange ethereal form comes in contact with it, small streaks of silver run up along its body, and you can make out the slightest shapes along its form. You see glints of what look to be armor on its chest, sort of long wisps of hair reaching down to the shoulders when it brushes along its head. It's like bit by bit, this thing is being revealed. As Marjorie's looking out the window, sort of seeing where all the commotion's about, and sees this thing. Is this a fight, guys?
Nobody else can see this. Just Luna, or can we see the?
Luna's like, if you guys are starting to pour out, you're seeing these shadows, and it seems like some of them are starting to disappear or be changed. Luna's really the only one who's making out these strange phenomena.
Luna, what is happening here?
I hear whistling. It seems like those shadows that Ash and Lynn took over are returning back to their actual forms and moving on.
Oh, alright. That's good, right?
Sounds good.
With all the shadows.
I believe so. I'm mostly just watching for Pity to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, you
What
see.
about Mila?
Do I see Mila anywhere?
That's kind of see. Like the only thing that really stands out to you is the one that Pity seems to be surrounding. Is more of this energy that comes from Pity seems to touch this thing. You see some of the shadow bounce back to its form, but in doing so, it's almost like tearing away some of this soot and ash, like washing parts of it away. And pretty soon, you see Marjorie starting to step out, looking around this area. Yeah, I can. Is it safe? Yeah, there's more than just shadows here. And she looks forward down the path, seeing this tiny little spirit floating around. Did you say Pity?
Oh, right. You see, I never actually told you. See, Pity, your friend, was actually a spirit and kind of followed us after we left the first time.
Oh, is that? So she looks over, and again, you're still only seeing these glimpses of like a small silvery form, but Marjorie seems to look right at it too. Is that him? As she starts to approach this tiny little spirit, and as it does, it sort of turns around and comes back to Marjorie. Now actually taking a full form, like a small glimmering ball of etherealness that she holds her hands around. Hey, buddy. Long time no see. What were you doing away from home for so long? And then she looks up, and it seems like as she's been talking to this small spirit, more and more of this shadow seems to be sort of disappearing until mostly a shape remains. It's still tattered by darkness, but most of its appearance has been revealed as you see the glimmer of armor, the hanging of silvery-looking hair down to her shoulders, and just sort of this expectant look in her eyes as you see the form of Mila Haynes appear. As Marjorie sort of looks up at this woman, kind of smiling like, and then her smile sort of drops. And then she steps forward, sort of with Pity flying around her, sort of going off into the distance before seeming to vanish. As she just stands before this silvery-looking woman. Is that? No. And then she just throws herself into this silvery form, and you see these dark hands sort of wrap around her, almost menacingly at first, but as she holds onto Marjorie, you see that shadow bit by bit start to crumble away like soot and ash, revealing something pure inside as you see, fully formed now, sort of more translucent than before, the ghost of Mila Haynes, holding her daughter in her arms.
Oh, thank God.
They said you were fighting? When are you gonna take a fucking break? The night's duty is never done, Marjorie. Even you know that. You dummy! For God's sake, just take it easy. You're dead now. You don't have to worry. I took care of everything. Just... And she looks up at her mother, and mother looks down at her, the shadows fading away from her face once more. Thank you. And it's just, you see just Mila's hands take her face and pull her close, and their foreheads just sort of bump gently. I'll always be here. Watching and protecting. That's what a mother does. And I definitely gotta come back to this forest. just a couple times, maybe. As eventually you see, after a few touching moments, the silvery images around you sort of begin to fade away. More of these shadows disappear. And Pity, now in a more physical form, starts to fly back towards you, Luna. Coming in this little direction, this little swirling spirit, before it sort of stops for a moment. As you see a couple more of these silvery figures swimming around it. Some of them still seemed tarnished by the shadows around this tiny creature. But two hands reach out to take hold of it, almost like trying to take hold of the small orb.
And from it, you see the shape sort of change. No longer this tiny little orb of light. Instead, in its place, more defined than when you saw it in this ethereal plane, a child, no higher than 3 feet. Hair coming down almost past his eyes and down to his shoulders, wearing these really rugged-looking clothing, something you'd expect of a villager. And then these tiny, dark little eyes looking towards these things that are touching him, and then the shadows begin to pull away from the silveriness, and you see from behind the hands of a mother and a father holding Pity. And Pity just sort of looks towards you, Luna.
Don't look at me. I'll be fine. You.
And you see him immediately start to pull away from the shadows for a bit and just come over to you, sort of slow at first, and then quick, as now Marjorie sort of turning around and realizing what she... As tiny little Pity sort of runs off the ground, jumps up, and just wraps his arms around you. It's cold. It's really cold, but it's comforting as you just hear in your head over and over that same little voice that tricked and played with you over these last couple of weeks, I suppose, maybe months now. And happiness as this tiny little spirit eventually lets you go without leaving a sense of connection, a strange cold that chills within you before it seems to warm away. As Pity just smiles up at you. Thanks, Luna.
So I guess I'll... I mean, he's like 3 feet tall. I probably can't actually carry him, but he's like a spirit, so he's probably weightless. So I'll hand him back to what I assume would be the mother and father.
Yep, as you turn back, you see most of the shadows now gone, and you see like an older man in his maybe mid-40s or so. Some of his features have been scarred. You can see what looks like claws have come down the side of his face and made terrible scars, but most of them are silvery lines now. The mother, this very, very plain, but still somewhat beautiful-looking woman, hair tied back in a tie, even strangely enough, in her afterlife, as they each take this small child who, in between their arms, they just sort of embrace and hug, and then, in those next moments, Pity leaves you. And all that's left, as spirits begin to fade from this area, you see Marjorie standing there, just sort of holding, looks like the remnants of a small silvery object, like a hand in hers, and then it sort of fades away. Huh.
All right then.
Touching moment. How are we going?
Oh, we can go.
Audrey?
I do need to talk to you guys.
What about?
I didn't want to just leave this until we got there to tell you this, but I was like, as soon as we get there, or at least a day after, I'm going to Garen's Well. You guys are welcome to join, but I'm going.
Garen's Well?
It's where my parents are.
Oh, hell yeah.
About to go see
All right.
I mean, I'm sure you all do well there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I left. I just left.
I mean,
But I came back.
You going to visit them, or you just heading off then?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm going to find out answers. Depending on... I don't really know if I plan on staying there or not.
It is a strange mystery that is where you departed from, and the Bloodstone tells you that is where what it is you seeked most still was. I will accompany you after the You said one day in Oakwell.
Or if we need a little bit of time before going off. I mean, I just don't want to set out on like another adventure before doing that.
That is understandable.
I mean, you would to be dangerous or something? Was that the trouble waiting for you?
Well, remember, Gregory, I did literally murder someone, so...
Isn't that why you got the new getup?
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know how much
You gonna
I
need
can...
us? Let's not beat around the bush here. You gonna need us, or are you fine?
I would enjoy the company, but I keep you guys away from doing something unless if you guys need to.
Well, then it's settled. If we don't have anything else to do and Jody doesn't have any other jobs to give us, then we'll go with you.
Yeah. But, I mean, you worried about getting in trouble with the law up there?
I think she's already in trouble with the law. I think that's the point. I think that's the problem.
I mean, we need to do something to clear your name then.
I mean, it's
I'm
not
sure
like I
if you ask
framed or
Jody
anything.
nicely, she could probably pull some strings.
I mean, it was... You told us it was like, it was in self-defense though, right?
Not exactly.
It was somebody that was looked upon highly over there, right?
Yeah, he
kinda-
was a relatively well-respected physician. He had killed before, and I was pretty sure he was going to kill me, so I killed him first. But it wasn't self-defense.
Yeah,
Oh.
but he was a murderer then.
But Gregory,
Yes.
we know that, but I don't think anybody else did back there.
I mean,
We
And
just
that's
gotta-
precisely.
We just gotta prove that... I mean, Luna just gave justice to a murderer then, and then she'd be off the hook, right?
I mean, I don't really know the laws, but frontier justice is one thing. The eyes of the law might see it as premeditated murder.
Regardless of whether or not it was legal or not, you did what needed to be done. And that, I understand. That and the fact that you have a very, very strong connection to undeath. And wherever you go, it seems to follow you. So if this is where you're going, it is where I am going as well. I cannot afford to lose you. Not to shadows or zombies or ghouls or what have you.
I mean, that hasn't happened yet.
Yet.
So, yeah, alright. So we go head up there, try to find your parents, and hopefully don't get in trouble with the law. That'll be some.
And if everything turns out to be pretty simple, I needed to go to Crossway anyway, so it works out for me.
So,
I mean, I can...
Oh yeah, hell.
do I just stay at Oakwell then?
Yeah, Quildo, I don't really know.
Yeah.
Well, Quill, I think that depends on you. You might have come into Oakwell and started to be employed by Ava, but I did say before we left it would be your choice and that you do get to decide if you'd like to continue with us or not.
I mean, that's not really my choice.
Yes, it is.
It's yours.
What?
You don't just come into a group and force yourselves. If you want me, I'll go. I don't want to presume.
I mean, Quildo saved my ass during all this, so it's a yes for me.
I mean, I don't particularly care either way.
That's a fairly nice thing to say, Luna.
It's a very Luna thing to say. Sure, feel kinda weird, considering the group size.
I mean, you won't have a deal with Dave or anything, do you? You gonna be getting in trouble with her?
I mean, that's what I thought too.
All right then. Then yeah, I don't see any problem with.
What about you, Samantha?
Well, Gregory and Javen and Persephone all are fine with it, and Luna seems to be abstaining, so I do not believe my vote particularly matters.
So just look over at Persephone.
Persephone's quiet as she's listening to the whole group, and she looks at Quill and thinks on this whole adventure we had with him. Well, if you like, I would be happy to have you with us.
I would indeed like that very much.
Then welcome to the Valiant Seven.
We will be starting you out with the provisional wage, of course, of only 1 gold piece per adventure, but we'll see if you can earn your way up to a proper payment.
Wait, Jody's the one that gets to decide how much we keep.
Hush now, Persephone. I have to focus on driving as I whip the horses back into motion.
Oh, I did have one more thing to talk about. We should change the name.
What?
Change the name?
Yeah, we need to change the name. I hate it now.
All right then.
It is a little awkward to try to explain the 7.
Well, you don't
Valiant
like explain it
six.
every time.
Yeah, what?
You finally see Marjorie returning back to the
Exact-
7. Yeah, what? There's 6 of you now.
There
How
was
are you the
the
7?
wolf used to make it 7, and then Clyde and the wolf left, so now we're down to 6, and it's really difficult now.
Well, you
Oh.
counted the dog.
Yes, he was a member of this family. He mattered.
Fine.
They're not dead, by the way, Marjorie. They just.
I mean,
decided-
Marjorie
Oh,
could
good.
join
Oh,
us.
good. Okay,
I mean,
I'm-
I don't know what.
I'm kind
what
of
she-
feeling emotional now. I don't think I could deal with the fun Catman dying.
I just got a girlfriend, and they're just together now. So
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
good on him.
Engaged. I
Settle
don't
it.
know if you heard about that, yes. Don't worry about
she's
the
making
name.
bad
I
choices
have.
all around, aren't she, Barda?
She most certainly is. I have a bit of a mission that I hope to embark on. I'll take care of making sure our name spreads. If you don't want Valiant 7 to be the name anymore, it's fine. I'll make it work.
The Earth Shakers. No. The Earth Movers. No, that sounds weird.
Persephone's gonna kick her horse so we can continue onwards. As we spend another 4 hours talking about names.
As Marjorie climbs back into the carriage with you guys, sort of just wiping her face off, and like she had spent some time by herself out in the path. But eventually, you guys get back into your wagon, your carriage rather, all on your horses, and together you travel quite through the remainder of the Elderbark Forest. 2 more days, sort of just enjoying the wilderness. It seems like finally now the life is sort of returned to its normal state. No more bunches of swarms of animals hiding in the trees. No more insects filling the air. It seems like it's how fall should be. And thankfully, as you go up to the Northern Path, a very familiar place where a great battle once took place, the trees themselves are no longer trying to reach out and claim you. It seemed whatever influence and magic that took over this area has since faded since you've been here. And over time, you guys make your way farther north along the path. As you get to the crossroads you once returned to, and even it's autumn, some of these trees still retain a touch of their green. They always seem to stay a bit green. Gregory, you know this very well. The closer you get to home, and eventually, coming around down to the northern gate, you see the familiar sight of a great wall, Marjorie keeping her head peered out the window just in awe and excitement as you guys are no longer in the forest. No more trees surrounding you. Instead, you find yourselves approaching the little town you've all since come to know as home, and a place where you have brought many outsiders in to claim as home as well. A place that you all seem to love as you return to Oakwell. Seems like since you left now, Saturday, where are you at? Date? Saturday 2nd. Morning. Approach from the northern gate, coming along the road leading off into the Elderbark Forest.
Yeah, I think it would be later there. Didn't you say it was like Wednesday the 19th?
Oh, that's true. It would be Sunday the 23rd, because you guys stayed. So, guys find the walls of Oakwell reaching you, and as you approach it, there is some sign. When you left last time, there were sounds of animals. Actually, the closer far to the right and central part of the town. But eventually, you look around and you don't see any frogs, you don't see any swarms of birds in the surrounding trees, no cackling noise, no pollution of creatures and vermin. It seems like regular old Oakwell.
See, Gregory, I told you, once the forest was safe, they were going to go back home.
Yeah, alright.
That'll make Ava happy.
Hey, Samantha,
I hope her room is still full of frogs, though.
Why do you hate her so?
It's a long story.
For another time.
Yes, Gregory.
you said you were gonna go off and do something about a name. I don't know. Should we start now? We coming up on the gates? I ain't exactly polished up or nothing, but I don't know. We were supposed to be going out here stopping the plague, and it looks like we did it. Should we?
It's
I
all
don't
right,
know.
Gregory. I got you. So I'll snap my finger, and Gregory's shadow will just wrap it.
Oh, come on! Oh, what?
Oh god, that looks horrible.
Yeah, it's. Why is it cold? Why is it so damn cold?
Why is it so slimy?
I guess you raise a pretty good point. Alright then.
Does it come off, Lou?
Just release it, and it'll come off.
There we go. Yeah, should we put on airs or something?
As I will sort of adjust myself on the front of the carriage to sort of take a try to take a sort of Captain Morgan-esque sort of position at the front of this thing as we come up towards the gates, and then just deciding unilaterally, as Samantha would so wonderfully do, reaches deep and grabs a hold of a bit of her magic.
Was that a yes or a no? Was she?
It's a yes, Gregory. Be sure to look
sorry.
your best. As I will reach in and call upon that magic and make my wonderful voice boom 3 times as loud as I reach in and call upon thaumaturgy.
Such a good cantrip. The best cantrip ever.
I'm sure it is.
It is.
Alright, Nero, be on your good behavior.
Hear ye, hear ye! The valiant vanguard returns, successful in ending the plague upon Oakwell. Please open the gates and receive us once again.
As you're yelling your words, they seem to boom out like thunder to the rest of you. You actually feel, it almost feels like the wagon itself, or the cart carriage itself, and its great size almost sort of jolts as the first word comes out. Even Marjorie inside's like, oh crap, sort of covers her ears. As all around, you see on top of the wall, you see a surprising amount of guards, each of them holding bows in their hands, immediately drawn to this thunderous booming voice as they turn down to look. And you hear calling out from all of them after a moment of silence and reconciling among them. Vanguard?
Formerly known as the Valiant Seven, now with this our most recent achievement, we are the Vanguard, heading out first against any threats to Oakwell and the rest of Mobia. Know now, when the Valiant Vanguard arrives, we will solve the problem at hand, as we have done so many times before.
Oh!
How did the guards receive
Oh,
the
my
declaration?
it starts off surprised, and after a little
Arrows.
while, it kind of goes on for a little bit, and some of them are just sort of watching her, others are sort of like looking at each other. Their hands start raising up to their ears as this booming voice carries. Yeah. Oh, all right. Valiant 7's back. Hey. Okay. Yeah. All right. Good stuff, guys. Open the gates. Charlie, Mike, Dennis, David.
Fucking David.
As you see,
Vanguard might take a little while.
slowly but surely, the gates begin to raise up, and you can hear, as you're walking beneath them, especially Persephone and Luna, if you're outside the carriage, with your sharpened ears. Here's some conversation among the guards staying on the ground. Oh, wow, don't remember them making an entrance like that. That's kind of fantastic. Yeah, not bad. Maybe not so loud next time, but still great, yeah. As you start to make your way into town, some people go, hey, yeah, Valiant 7! Good to have you back.
Howdy, yo.
And you're walking into town. You do see some people on the streets actually stopping to turn in recognition of you guys. Seeing Samantha standing on the top quite valiantly. Seeing Gregory riding on his horse. Persephone, Quildor. All sorts of folk wearing armor and very beautiful and magical vestments. Making their way down through Oakwell. As you seem like they've gathered a bit of a crowd along your walk. Some of them recognizing, hey! I think they did it! No more frogs, guys! Yeah, congratulations! As they seem to be quite taken by you. And it seems like as you're moving down, the crowd is kind of built around. It seems like, Samantha, your call, loud and thunderous, has sort of garnered the attention not only of the guards, but the people of Oakwell, as they seem to come to see what all the ruckus is about. And sure enough, all eyes seem to be on you guys, as slowly but surely you guys make your way down through Oakwell. Where are you guys going?
I'm driving towards the fallen horse. I use prestidigitation to make my wonderful cape just flutter behind me, along with the fact I think it just does that also. So it just billows behind me.
First of all, I addressed the last guy. Congrats.
Oh, you don't have a cape anymore.
Bitch, you're fucking wet.
Oh yeah, that's right. I just have a normal cloak, so I just use prestidigitation to make that billow then.
What was that, Luna?
Told the guy you're welcome.
Oh, thank you.
And Persephone.
I'll use my little prestidigitation to, fluff up Samantha, because I'm sure she'll love it, as I'll make little showers of sparks puff by her as well.
I'm gonna use a little druid craft to uplift some of the flowers on my new flower crown that I put together on the way home.
You see the colors become a bit more vibrant and almost seem to stand out as the flowers. Some of them somewhat still budded, become to bloom a little bit. Almost on sight where people are like, oh, catching people's eyes. Yeah, it seems like the more you guys are sort of throwing on the works, they seem to catch more and more attention till people just start seeing you lining up on the streets. Yeah, Valiant 7 again!
Yeah, I try to ride all straight up and noble, and then I very immediately start seeing people I recognize and realize I'm just making an ass out of myself because they know Gregory, and
Great.
it's just fucking. They're like, yeah, what? Yeah, no, there was a witch. There was a couple witches actually. Big old walking trees. Hey, there were some fellas that came this way. They make it all right. We killed all the trees. No, witches. No, I said there was some witches. Just a couple of witches. We killed them. It's fine. There was like some fog and some ghosts and things. Everything all right here?
As Javen
I'm just
rehearses,
talking to everybody that goes by that I recognize.
as Javen rehearses the lie on how he lost his barrel, because saying he lost it in the ghost realm, where he fought a witch to end the plague, doesn't sound that plausible. As Javen
Sounds like a
rehearses
drunk
the
man's
lie
story.
that he's about to say to Jody on how he lost the barrel.
Hearing Gregory sort of just kind of like mishmash tell the story over and over to like various people, and then hearing people kind of like catching the slight complaints of the volume. What happens if you whisper while underneath thaumaturgy? Does it sound just like normal yelling?
Like a
Is
normal
it just
talk, I
a
would think.
stage whisper?
Let's
Where you
see.
sound like you're whispering, but really you're just really loud.
Let's see.
3 times as loud as normal.
Because you didn't start it. Where
I did post it.
No, I'm saying, but it's just a big mess, as it usually
Gotta
is.
break up them paragraphs.
I mean, I'm assuming at this point though, like for the gate to rise, it's been more than a minute.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Unless
then-
you're just constantly casting it.
No. I just had the presentation going for the billowing. So then
It
I'll
does
just
say up to 3 times as loud.
as normal. Okay. So then I'll just use my normal voice and just project as any good person of my stature would, and just say, "Come this evening to the Fallen Horse, and I will regale you of the tales of the valiant Vanguard, formerly known as the Valiant Seven. Your first drink is on me."
Oh wow, that's
Yeah, we the Vanguard. No, the
Oh wait,
Vanguard.
now when you say it like
Vanguard.
that.
It's a good
Roll
thing
me
you said your first drink.
No, the first drink's all I need.
Please be persuaded to come down to the Fallen Horse.
Roll me a straight persuasion check.
Yay! I haven't used that one in a while.
Double
Yeah.
nat ones.
Yeah. It seems like with your helping with your voice booming, and you're not trying to speak directly to one person at a time like Gregory is sort of getting tossed around. You speak generally with a very inviting tone. And it seems like you've sort of caught on to this magic that you've pulled out from the depths of your boom strength of your person. Louder and more presentable to these people, always having this announcer voice. And you're able to catch a lot of ears and eyes. It sounds like, yeah, with Gregory's words help spreading this strange tale of witches and trees, more than just a plague of frogs, some interest has been garnered, and with your words, some told. Nodding out, like, yeah, absolutely, maybe come see the Fallen Horse, wherever that is. Some people seem to know exactly where it is, and they start talking like, yeah, we'll make plans tonight, go stop by that little place. The drinks there are probably kind of cheap. And some people are like, well, we'll see what happens. But overall, you seem to get a general read that, yeah, a large portion of these people are probably going to be coming to the Fallen Horse.
Oh, and just for continuity reasons, because I guess I didn't actually put my token on, I am in my disguised form back in Oakwell.
No, she
That makes everyone
His fit.
Oh, too much.
Enough.
As just inside the carriage, as you guys make your way through town, Marjorie just kind of keeping to herself, just looking out the window, mostly just looking at all the sights. It's a lot of buildings, and none of them are made of straw. That is amazing. That is really, really something. How did that building get so tall? As she sees that large watchtower as you guys get closer to the southern part of town. You can make buildings that big?
Glancing into the carriage every now and again and just taking in Marjorie's excitement, remembering what it was like when she first came to Oakwell. It's a nice little nostalgic feeling. And she's
Okay.
happy that Marjorie can experience that.
Yeah, it seems like, unlike you were at first, Persephone, who was quite excited to run into this town, meet everybody, just explore all these new avenues of Mobian life. Marjorie's curious, but if the glass between her and the world outside was any indicator, she seems a bit confined, still uncertain about to look at it, and eventually hurrying around to the edge of this town, to the corner where the sun seldom reaches except for the middle of the day. And right now, you guys find it's approaching later in the morning, almost reaching noon. So slowly creeping over the top of the town, casting light down. As you guys make or inside.
As I enter the Fallen Horse, I'm going to. Is Jody like already right there?
It seems like as you guys are walking in, sort of finding a place to park the very large carriage as you did before, it almost seems like you see her instantly in the window, sitting not at the bar, but at one of the chairs within, speaking to a couple of people. One person kind of large in size, sort of obfuscating her appearance. The other one, you can kind of make out a feature, sort of golden, long red hair. Seems like she's having a conversation with Ava. As
Persephone
you guys
immediately scowls.
You guys begin to, assuming you guys are entering.
Do I see Persephone scowl?
Probably. I don't think she's.
No, she just does not look very as pleased as she should be to be back.
I'll quickly, put my horse in the stable because it's just one horse, not a giant fucking carriage.
Yep.
put my horse in the stable for.
I'll enter the fallen horse and
walk
announce
in.
to Jody, we're back, but don't get used to it because we're leaving.
As you open up the door to the fallen horse, you all, at least with Luna leading the way, enter inside. It seems like the fallen horse still has some really more.
Hoping for dead bodies.
Oh god, they're all dead. No, as Luna, you lead the way, and you actually see, looks like Jody's having. I seem to catch the movement outside. Many bodies start making their way towards the door, and as you enter, her eyes are already on you.
Oh, welcome back, Luna, and the rest of you, I suppose. Certainly took your time, didn't you?
Hello.
I mean, it's a ways. Try to be as quick as we could.
Was that supposed to be like what the fuck, guys, or is that just normal Jody tone?
I mean, Jody's always kind of dismissive of most things.
She's a little sassy.
Afternoon, father. Oh, morning, kid. Noon.
As you do see Father Winter turn to face you. Gregory! It's been a hot minute, huh?
It's been a week or so, I think. Been a hell of a week.
Yes, sounds like it. I'd been meaning to talk to you when I came back from Austin, but I heard you was already gone by the time I returned. Y'all were off to go stop some frogs from plaguing this town? Were you doing some sort of divine work for Avandra there?
In a way, yeah. More I own. Sort of this time around, but yeah, we sort of brought somebody with us, helping out.
How's Marjorie looking? Is she hovering by the doorway? Did she even walk inside?
Like, the doors are still sort of open after you guys just, confidently walk in, and Marjorie's just kind of standing in the doorway, just sort of looking in and around. First looking at the floor, where her feet step down, and you see, not mud, but actual wooden planks covered in a big rug, and she just sort of takes in the size and the majesty of this entire tavern. But then she sees all the people, and it seems like a look of familiarity shared between the party and some strangers, and she just sort of stays where she is.
Marjorie, come on!
I'll introduce you.
Okay. God, I'm bad at goodbyes. How am I going to be at introductions? Okay.
She sort of steps forward with you, Persephone, as Jody sort of turns her eye onto the stranger walking in.
You, oh. Excellent. You must be the seer that Samantha was speaking of. So good to meet you.
As she walks in and steps past Father Winter.
I left up my ring. Maybe we shouldn't tell her quite yet about her magic.
She's also right next to you.
My ring! She can't hear me when I talk into my ring!
She's like right next to you.
You're still whispering.
Yep. She turns her towards you, Persephone, but sees you doing something weird, and then turns back away to Marjorie. Because that's just what you do, Persephone. You keep frogs in your bag, you go talk to plants, letting the child speak whispers into her hand. As she turns back to Marjorie, and sort of reaches out and takes, with both of her hands, Marjorie's one of her own hands, could have sort of hesitant at first to allow it, but then realizing this is her establishment, just sort of consents.
My name is Jody. I run this fine inn that you see before you, the Fallen Horse. I'm certain that my workers have told you all about its majesty, and it is an honor to have someone of your esteem and your abilities to stay here.
Jody, about that, as I turn to Persephone, because we kind of have to tell her.
Yeah, a lot of things happened over the last week or so.
So the nature of Marjorie's magic was a curse from some hags. We went to Thistle, dealt with the hags, lifted the curse, which also lifted the magic.
As her eyes just turn to cut into you, Luna, and the longer she stares at you, the more you explain, the more you feel this pressing sensation as her sharp yellow eyes just seem to narrow, and the look of welcoming and joy on her face just begins to sort of harden and sharpen like a knife.
But she's prepared to work.
Especially since me and Gregory aren't always going to be here, especially since we're leaving soon anyways. So you'll need someone here to help do all the things that we do.
Ow. 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 Miss Jody, you're really... Oh, you got a really strong grip there. I'm just going to pull my hand away right now as you see Jody's hand just sort of sitting there clenching itself. So what you're telling me is you all went down into the forest to go play with frogs or witches. You didn't bring back a seer, and now you're going to leave again for... what exactly?
To find my parents.
And how does that benefit the fallen horse?
At the moment, I don't really care about the fallen horse.
That is where I come in, Jody. My apologies for this disappointment. I was shocked to find out that was the situation. I actually checked to see if she could still divine fortunes on the way back, but it was an unfortunate sacrifice. However, with our most recent rebranding and my promise rather, to provide some free drinks this evening, you should have a swell of customers tonight, as I need to perhaps put on a bit of a show for explaining what it is the valiant vanguard was up to, besides clearing out this plague. There is an old legend in Thistle that has been, well, finally put to rest, that we have some excellent artifacts that we could perhaps present as well, as I sort of look over Jody's shoulder to Gregory and just kind of give him an astute nod, gesturing towards the sword on his back. But the direction we need to go in for Luna, for her family, also takes us through Crossway, and I was planning on doing some very heavy-handed promotion of both our group and the marvelous Fallen Horse in that location. Planning to fund this myself, of course, if you would find that amicable.
As she turns her head toward you, and then finally her hand seems to lower. You can see the veins along her arm and hand starting to sink back into her body, as it seems like some of the rage is being quelled. Her lips are pulling down ever so slightly to show the tips of her tusks, but now she seems to be recomposing herself. Fine. Pay for drinks. I'm assuming these free drinks are going to be on your behalf.
They are, and they are a single free drink per person. After that, they'll be coming out of their own pockets. And it'll be a good time perhaps for Marjorie to, well, do her best and maybe be broken in. But I will be paying for a single drink per person that attends this evening, and like I said, funding... Well, I'm sure there's some people in Crossway that would love to sing a tale or two about the valiant vanguard and their wonderful patron, putting on as much charming airs as I can for Jody at the moment, and her marvelous establishment here in Oakwell.
Sounds excellent. I refuse. I do not want the name of the Fallen Horse spreading among a place like Crossway. Certainly a gold mine of attention, but there are many foul people who live in that place, and I would truly not wish to give away the location of my establishment to those who live there, if you remember previous conversations.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Though you may speak of yourselves as much as you wish, advertise the Valiant Seven as great as you can.
Vanguard.
Vanguard now.
Oh, yes, she changed the name.
Yeah.
Why did you change the name?
Because everybody asked why there weren't 7 of us, and it was really awkward trying to explain the whole thing.
I just move Persephone behind me. I just grab the back of her and just pull her behind me. What she says is true. So I just kind of scrunch my face in a bit of frustration. Alright, that's... No, I absolutely love Vanguard, but it is a problem with...
Nevertheless, if you're going to advertise yourself, if not by name, do so by actions. Make yourselves known. Help poor people. Do nice things. Make yourselves known for being true vanguards as opposed to just learning your name and your legacy. That is how you advertise. Although, if you're going to be... Where are you heading exactly? Through Crossway? That is at least 2 weeks of travel.
Luna's parents are...
Grandparents well.
Garen's Well. That river town to the north.
Yes.
Alright, amendment. 3 weeks of travel. Excellent. Well, so after a week of trekking in the woods, possibly bringing in more business for tonight, I will amend that. That is an excellent idea. You all wish to spend 3 weeks traveling to the north to go solve a problem that has nothing to do with your work.
To be fair, Luna has been absolutely pivotal to almost every single one of our ventures thus far. Her power and prestige go beyond my words, and, well, you can't keep her here. And if she goes by herself, I have reason to fear we may not see her again. So in aiding her, we keep her. And, well, there are other things that perturb me about her whole situation that I would like to get eyes on, things that may require heroics in the future, Jody. Things were quite interesting, both on Stroma and with these witches. Something greater is going on, and I would not be surprised if there was some sort of connection from this to that.
Excellent. And how much does that pay? You see my issue. One thing at a time. One thing at a time. I need a moment to think. As she turns around to go back to her chair, sees Gregory, Father Winter, and this time sees Ava and Quill. Oh, and yes. Quildor it was.
Yes.
You had quite an adventure, I suppose, in the forest, chasing witches and frogs with the valiant vanguard. How do you feel you fared? As Ava's like, yes, Quill. How was it adventuring with the Valiant Seven? Or Vanguard? Vanguard.
They're a strong group. Both in physical prowess, magical skills, and, well, will. They seem to be able to help the people of this land in ensuring that Oakwell will stand against anything that comes at it. I also believe that they will please Bayer with the news they bring from Mache.
Would you look at that? And you stood toe to toe on equal standing with these Valiant Seven Vanguards. Sorry. Still a new name.
Well, he's no slouch. Look, I was about to get roasted up like a fresh chicken. He came in and saved my ass.
Won't you hear that, Jody? The little champion here saved yours. Isn't that interesting?
I mean,
Jody.
Gregory saved mine several times as well.
Oh, well, that's just what Timberson does.
Actually, Jody, as I come almost kind of sprinting back, I needed some wine, and I had a moment of inspiration as I come back over to the conversation.
She just sort of looks at you, and a big finger raises up to you.
She does not seem very happy. As she turns back to Quill. As Ava sort of looks back to see Samantha sprinting back to the table after helping herself to some wine. Well, then, Quill, I hope you had your fun here, but I believe we might have some new tasks for you elsewhere. There are other groups here in Oakwell who might need your help, and, well, I'm certain the Valiant Seven doesn't need another strong member.
As Ava keeps talking, Stephanie grins, just gets...
No, the Valiant Seven do not. But the Vanguard is in need of a shield.
And
They will do great things here. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. But their legend will stand the test of time. Perhaps I've been accustomed to living as long as I have. Sometimes short-sightedness gets in the way of a legend. And a legend is far more profitable than any individual quest. I think you will be able to retire on the legend that this group is creating, Jody. For dozens and hundreds of years, people will want to come here and see where the valiant vanguard got their start. Lord knows they do it in Tyrion all the time.
God, you sound like an old elf. As you see Ava, as you're speaking, just sort of deflates a little bit, realizing I'm sort of getting lost in what exactly you're saying with your slow and monotonous words. But then, as you're turning your attention to Jody and speaking these high praises, it becomes pretty evident. Yeah, okay. I was afraid of that, but if you find yourself more comfortable with these profitable heroes, then so be it. Not my will to stand in your way or steal you. That would be up to her, as she turns to Jody with a sort of knowing grin. That's what you do best, Jody. Steal what's mine. Oh, well, good timing. I have a successful inn to run. Talk to you all later. Maybe stop by for some drinks when you have some more free time and not trying to change your names. Good seeing you.
I shall.
Good afternoon, Ava.
I think in my mind,
Have a good one.
Trip her. Oh, like
Pity Tripper. Oh, my son. As Jody sort of sighs. I suppose with those very poetic words you spilled, Quildor, that this is your sign of acceptance. Are you sure you wish to be part of this group? As you can see, they are quite dysfunctional. They are quite capable in some ways, but ultimately needing something. Wisdom, guidance, protection. And as she says that, her eyes sort of open up a bit. Actually, perhaps you may be a good fit.
I already said everything that you just stated, but I'm going to go to that job board, see if there's anything to do on the way, if that sates your desires for money.
What were you saying, Samantha? She turns back to you, still sort of heavy-eyed, and just feel like she just got told some bad news.
Samantha tries to cut through her less than happy attitude with a bit of optimism, and, well, she whispers into many ears. There, I think, is an opportunity to make a bit of coin off of this situation that doesn't require too much effort. I have a bit of a request from Ashay, the wonderful woman that runs Thistle. They are in not disarray, but disrepair as a result of the hags that we slew. And they will need things like lumber and people to put them up and things of that nature. And I gave word to her that I would speak to the mayor on her behalf, along with perhaps posting a bounty to try to stave off a burgeoning goblin threat that they are worried about, that they can fund from funds their own. But I think if craftsmen would be so inclined to help in Thistle, we could perhaps institute a bit of a commission on top of that advisory from the mayor. You see, that potential work is only there because we kept the entire town from burning down into literally nothingness, thanks to the efforts of the hags. Because of that, working with the mayor to institute perhaps a work contract with Thistle to send people that would be able to do that sort of work there, and perhaps you taking a healthy 12.5% maybe might be able to at least give you some fund recovery for our absence and unfortunate series of events that resulted in losing a seer.
So you wish to gouge the efforts of people fixing that village Thistle, that muddy hole?
Yeah, what now?
I mean, the idea of gouging people for money certainly suits me, but I don't know how much would go into workers being paid to fix a village. Certainly worth looking into if you can work that angle, but I can't speak for how much coin that will earn and how long that will take.
I mean, a healthy flow of silver is better than no flow of silver, isn't it?
I suppose so. It doesn't pay as much as sending my trusted workers out to go fulfill tasks for great amounts of gold, I must say.
But it only costs you a simple conversation with the mayor, which I was planning on doing anyway. So, I will make mention of it, see if I can't work something out.
Jody, I want to talk to you sort of about all that also, but I don't know, maybe after all this.
Indeed. There's a lot to process from this, and there are still one matter to attend to as her head just sort of snaps over to the girl standing next to her. Yeah, still here. I heard this is, you can have some work for me? You're not a seer. You have no magic. Can you sweep a broom? Yes. Can you serve a drink? Pretty sure yes. Can you cook? Yeah. Mostly.
I could teach you a couple things before we leave.
Can you stand there and look pretty? Perfect. Fine. If someone is willing to pay for her room for, let's say, the first month or so, you have a place to stay, young Marjorie. No longer seer. But you could find some work here. Earn some coin for yourself. Earn your place. Prove your worth. And help make me some damn money. If you don't mind me, I'm going to go think for a while. It's good seeing you again. Jody pushes open the doors. They sort of swing behind her. She doesn't quite leave in a happy mood, but not in the foulest you've ever seen her. Oh, I thought I was gonna die.
I mean, what? How is Ava worse than? I mean,
Like, Joda's got a heart of gold, but a very rough exterior.
my temper as fine as a razor.
Curious, I saw that we actually were the cause of.
Yeah.
But you make her angry all the time.
No, I'm saying this is the first time we've made her angry.
Ah, I don't think we should make that a habit.
Well, don't worry, y'all. That's just listen. The longer you stay here in Oakwell, the more you're gonna see some strange folk. Father Winter, I'm the clergyman of the Hope's Bastion here in Oakwell. You know the word of Avandra? I know of Avandra. Didn't really get a lot of that down in Thistle. Just a lot of people like to worship what's his face and the other thing. Sorry, I'm not really religious. That down there. Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. Man, Gregory, well, sometime go show her the church. You know, bring a little light into her life. Accept Avandra into your heart. It's a great way to get welcome in this place. The church is a great community.
Yeah.
I must say, Samantha was rather clever in offering a free drink to everyone tonight.
Yeah, she's very clever. She usually comes up with interesting ideas, and most of the time they work.
I mean, especially because she has that bottle of rum that just keeps pouring and pouring and pouring. She won't have to take even a copper piece out of her purse.
Yeah, she's
you're
lucky that
assuming
she
that-
has that.
You're assuming she wants to share, and that's very bad assumption, Samantha.
So she either shares her unlimited liquor, or she shares her gold pieces. Either way, she still is sharing.
Yeah, you got me. She'll figure out a way, though. Usually does. Whew. Well, how's everything been? All the frogs and things seem to be gone. You haven't seen the kids. I was gonna ask Jody, but yeah, she was not in the best of moods.
I've been in town for a little while, just long enough to see frogs and birds all over the place. Father Chef's been keeping himself kind of busy, rounding them up, as well as your cat friend. He's kind of been all over the place. Kind of surprised to see you guys gone without him. But things have been relatively quiet. Had some new people coming to town, checking out the church. They was, guess they came down south from Sissel. I'm gonna call it Sissel down. But not too much. Things have been kind of quiet around here. I think it's the first time in a long time Oakwell's been kind of still.
Well, that's good, isn't it?
Good deal.
Yeah, I suppose so. I think that some of the folks, as yourself, might be a bit restless, though. See, still Oakwell ain't good for ain't good for adventurers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right then. Oh, hell, Marjorie, it's the middle of the day. You wanna have a tour? You've been here before, right?
I haven't been anywhere outside of Thistle except for some forests and some running with some frogs. Yeah, this is the biggest place I've ever been to. There's walls on the outside, and it's like it contains like 5 different thistles inside of it. So let's take a tour.
Let's get on it then. I got some people I want you to meet.
All right then. As Gregory and Marjorie start making their way out the door and things come to sort of a slow and steady end, seems like things in Oakwell are quite peaceful. Not much going on. The people seem to be quite content now that the little disturbance of the plague has subsided. Oakwell is finally, for at least the time being, at peace. But we're left with a particular problem in the hands of the Valiant Seven. Now the Valiant Vanguard, it seems, if that name shall stick. It seems that they are faced with a couple of problems, sort of twofold. One of tackling something dire and dear to the heart of Luna, finding the parents that she came here to Oakwell to seek. The other is maintaining the relationship with their employer, someone who finds them work in the gold to sustain them. Seems like she's not too keen on the party simply adventuring away for weeks upon weeks to go complete something of a personal task when it does not benefit her. How will the party handle this strange new dynamic? How will they solve this problem to allow Luna to go fight her battles and solve her mysteries while also keeping in good graces with the woman who keeps them fed? Find out next week on the next episode of the Song of Rapture.
Indeed, that will be an interesting task. One that most likely cannot simply be solved by rolling initiative. Most fun form of problems, I think. So, be sure to see what it is they devise next Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. But, as always, there is more D&D to be had on Lionhead Gaming. This Sunday, you can come back to see the Outriders push on with only a few more lieutenants of Karseth separating them from the end of their journey. Be sure to tune in this Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern, and see our wonderful level 20 party push on and take on this, their greatest foe yet. And there is still a bit more D&D this Tuesday. Can the Apex Alliance save the princesses, or will they all fail and be slain before Milo's precious little eyes? And there's nothing he can do about it. Be sure to tune in this Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, to find out as the Apex Alliance push on deeper and deeper into this temple and uncover a room full of empowered skeletons. Another crystal pulsating with red, strange energy. Princess Tazrin down, unconscious, hopefully not dead. Avery bleeding from multiple wounds, and Princess Sator filled with rage. Can they pull this one out, or will this end in disaster? Tune in this upcoming Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, once again here at Lionhead Gaming for some more Dungeons and Dragons. Other than that, I want to thank you all so much for watching. I want to thank you all so much for checking out our wonderful sponsors, Arts and Coffee, which you can check out the link in the chat right now. And then we're going to go ahead and host somebody else who's streaming some more D&D. And that's it. That's all she wrote. Until next time, may your dice roll 20s, and you always make your saves.
Later, y'all.
Toodles!
Of the rot worms and click your damage. So control click it and you should go. And Lionhead Gaming now hosting for the 33 viewers. Thank you guys so much for the host. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Military and Veteran Gamers. Check out our info panel below that has all of our awesome stuff. Hype in channel.
Hype.
That sounded like Doctor. She's doing good. Did you fix your Discord?
I just got a different mic.
Oh, okay. We sound a whole much better.
Way better.
Yeah, I was using Bluetooth. There we go.
Nice. Howdy. Welcome.
All right, so now after I hit, so do I re-roll?
No, you did hit. I'm taking your attack roll. Just remember you got to target